Chapter 173. You guys are strong enough, one each. I'll bring some people inside to investigate. Wang Jichao said to Lin Xian and Ling Ying. Okay. Lin Xian nodded and lightning exploded from his body, lighting up the surroundings. Lightning flash. So. Lin Xian gathered heavenly lightning in his palms, and threw 2 heavenly lightning bolts over. Boom! The terrifying power of lightning instantly engulfed the demonic beast. Ling Ying and Miao Xiaomiao also locked onto their target. Then they rushed over to fight. The 2 lightning flashes almost took the demonic beast's life. He was probably already half dead. After all, Lin Xian was a 5-star arcane body realm cultivator, while the demonic beast was a 3-star arcane body realm cultivator. Furthermore, the Heavenly Thunder Flash was an Earth rank martial technique. Normally speaking, if this 3-star arcane body realm cultivator was a human, he would definitely die after being hit by these 2 attacks. But because it was a demonic beast, its physique was stronger, and it didn't die after being hit. However, Lin Xian rushed over and punched the demonic beast's head, killing it instantly. There were still 25,000 experience points to reach the 6 stars arcane body realm. That wasn't too much. Under normal circumstances, Lin Xian felt that he might be able to reach the 7 stars arcane body realm by tonight and tomorrow morning. Lin Xian then walked in and saw that the battle was still ongoing. Ah! Suddenly, a scream sounded in everyone's ears. Lin Xian was the first to turn around, because the person who screamed was right beside him. Lin Xian looked over and saw that he had no signs of life. And the one who killed him was a demonic beast that Lin Xian and the rest didn't notice. It was a giant black spider that was over 3 meters long. That person died under the sharp front claws of this giant spider. It seemed that the first stab had pierced through his shoulder, which was why he was able to scream. However, the second stab had pierced through his head, instantly taking his life. They really didn't pay attention to this demonic beast. This huge spider was hanging from the ceiling above their heads. It seemed to be deliberately hiding its presence. Its body was black, and its eyes didn't have much light. In the dark of the night, it was normal for no one to pay attention to it. Lin Xian didn't feel sorry or pity for that person, because it was normal for humans to be killed by demonic beasts. In fact, Lin Xian even felt a trace of luck. The distance between him and Lin Xian was less than 3 meters, and he was completely unprepared. If the demonic beast chose to attack him, Lin Xian, he didn't have 100% confidence that he would be able to react. And if he couldn't, the price would be death. Because this abyss venomous spider was at the 5 stars arcane body realm, it could easily take Lin Xian's life. Heavenly Thunder Flash. Lin Xian condensed Heavenly Thunder Flash and threw it over. That abyss venomous spider's movements were surprisingly agile as it crawled out. Give this demonic beast to me. Lin Xian shouted and rushed out. Whoosh! A ball of spider web shot towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian hurriedly dodged. He knew that this level of spider web was incomparably tough. Under such circumstances, using a spirit weapon to cut it would be the most foolish choice. Not only would it not be able to cut it, but it would also be imprisoned. The people in front saw a giant black spider running out and revealed a terrified expression. Some demonic beasts were cute, but some were very scary. For example, this abyss venomous spider was over 3 meters long. Others were scared of a few centimeters long spider, let alone such a big one. This kind of demonic beast could scare the majority of martial artists out of their wits. Fortunately, this abyss venomous spider didn't run towards them, but towards where they came from. It ran directly to the first floor. Lin Xian chased after it. I'll go take a look at Lin Xian. Ling Ying was worried about Lin Xian after getting rid of her demonic beast, so she ran away after saying that. It would be a lie to say that she didn't care about Lin Xian. No matter what, Lin Xian was her boyfriend, and also her man. For 23 years, he was the only man who had taken her. Even if they hadn't experienced the real process of love, she definitely had special feelings for Lin Xian. Boom! When Ling Ying arrived at the stairs, she saw a terrifying purple lightning erupting from the first floor. The power of lightning was indeed strong. Ling Ying could feel its aura, even from so far away. Her figure disappeared from the spot like a ghost. This was the power of shadow. Bang 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 bang. The abyss venomous spider's hard front pincers were like sharp swords. Lin Xian waved the dragon rain sword, while the abyss venomous spider waved its front pincers, and even had the advantage. After all, the abyss venomous spider was fast, and its body was bigger and stronger. Lin Xian, an ordinary martial artist of the same realm, had a hard time competing with it in terms of strength. Ling Ying appeared beside Lin Xian. She wanted to help him, but after thinking about it, she gave up because this kind of battle was training for Lin Xian. The abyss venomous spider has two strong points. The first is its poison web, and the second is its venom. Once you're hurt by any part of its body, your body will be poisoned. With your arcane body 5 stars, if you're poisoned by the same realm's poison, you'll die within 10 minutes. So be careful. Ling Ying reminded Lin Xian. Lin Xian was naturally clear about these points. Even if he hadn't fought with the abyss venomous spider before, his Eye of Cave spirit was already very clear. 1,000 lightning strike. The dragon rain sword gathered lightning again and slashed over. Hiss! The abyss venomous spider let out a strange cry because Lin Xian's sword had directly cut off its front pincer, and green blood kept spurting out. Be careful, the abyss venomous spider's blood is also highly toxic. It will instantly corrode and poison your skin. Ling Ying was worried for Lin Xian. This kind of demonic beast was actually the most difficult to deal with. It had many ways to take your life. Poison, poison web imprisonment, sharp front pincers, and poisonous fangs. After the abyss venomous spider was injured, it staggered back a little, but Lin Xian's speed suddenly increased, and he slid under the abyss venomous spider's body. This scene made Ling Ying tremble with fear. Wasn't this Lin Xian a little too reckless in battle? His attack method was indeed effective, because the abyss venomous spider's abdomen was a weak spot, but it was very difficult to attack. The abyss venomous spider's 6 limbs were relatively long, resulting in a spacious area below it. If Lin Xian slid under the abyss venomous spider, if the abyss venomous spider reacted, it could directly pierce through Lin Xian with its claws. Lin Xian actually had many ways to deal with the abyss venomous spider. It was possible to use the powerful strength of an Earth-tier martial skill to forcefully kill it, but this way, he wouldn't have any combat experience. So Lin Xian would try his best to avoid using martial skills. If he could avoid using martial skills, then he wouldn't. There was definitely no harm in this. Of course, Lin Xian only dared to do this because he had a certain amount of confidence. Otherwise, he wouldn't dare to throw away his life. The 1,000 lightning strikes dragon rain sword slashed from the front of the abyss venomous spider's abdomen to the back, and Lin Xian took advantage of the opportunity to slash out. The abyss venomous spider was directly killed. It was equivalent to its abdomen being cut open. Chapter 174. Who? Lin Xian took a deep breath. Then, he walked towards Ling Ying. How is it? Your man is handsome, right? Lin Xian grinned. Get lost. Do you know how dangerous it was just now? Ling Ying rolled her eyes at Lin Xian. Lin Xian's large hand inadvertently pinched Ling Ying's, but causing her to be embarrassed and angry. Oh my God. After a day, he finally found a chance to touch his precious Ling Ying. It's fine. I just cut off its front claw, so it stumbled and retreated. At this time, it usually can't react, Lin Xian said. What if? Wouldn't you be putting your head under its blade? You're worried about me. Lin Xian smiled at Ling Ying's beautiful face. Who's worried about you if you die? If you die, I can find another man. Ling Ying said angrily. Yes, she was a little angry. Seeing Lin Xian's attack just now, it was like he didn't care about his life. Although she knew that Lin Xian had a certain level of confidence, if he kept doing this and often took risks out of desperation, there was no telling when he would make a mistake. How could one's shoes not get wet if one stood by the river too often? Ling Ying was very clear about this principle. Ha ha ha. Then you can forget about that possibility in your life. Lin Xian laughed. You can still laugh. Ling Ying rolled her eyes at Lin Xian again. Okay, I won't do this again. I promise you, okay? Let's go, the top needs us. Hearing Lin Xian's words, Ling Ying nodded slightly. However, Lin Xian was still quite touched. This Ling Ying still cared about him a lot. When they reached the top, the second floor was almost completely cleaned out. Then the third floor, the fourth floor. 40 minutes later, they arrived at the 20th level. Lin Xian had almost reached the 6th star of the arcane body stage. What's going on outside? Someone suddenly said. Lin Xian and the others also noticed something. In the pitch-black night sky outside, there was a sudden flash of light very close to them. It was like a bolt of lightning streaking across the night sky, attracting people's attention. This light illuminated the surroundings. It even felt as if a huge lamp had been lit outside. Everyone looked out through the windows at the side. This was the 20th floor, which was already very high. They saw that the blue light was coming from the horizon, and it was getting closer and closer. And their target was the square. Everyone's pupils shrank. It was an aura that made their hearts twist. Not good, Wang Jiqiao shouted, but it was too late. Boom. They saw with their own eyes that the light smashed into the square like a meteorite falling from the sky. In that instant, they saw the light, dust and power engulfing the entire square. On the square, 400 to 500 people were engulfed. Under that power, there was no need to think about their outcome. And on the 20th floor, they even felt the entire mall tremble at this moment. How can this be? Everyone's eyes widened, and their faces were filled with horror. Especially when they saw this scene with their own eyes. They saw 400 to 500 people being engulfed by this power like ants. Lin Xian's pupils shrank. This power surpassed the lightning tribulation realm. He had felt the power of high-level lightning tribulation realm before. The terrifying power in front of him was even stronger than that. It was at least in existence in the law realm. It's over, Wang Jiqiao muttered to himself. Team leader, what kind of monster is that? Some people were about to cry. It's demonic aura. It proves that it's a monster. And it's a law realm monster. It's a monster king. Wang Jiqiao clenched his fists. How is that possible? Logically speaking, why would a law realm monster care about this place? Hearing Wang Jiqiao's words, everyone's hearts collapsed. Lin Xian secretly clenched his fists. What he was worried about had happened in the end. Wang Jiqiao quickly adjusted the channel in his earpiece. Team 2, calling Team 2. Please answer if you hear me. However, there was no response from the earpiece. Team 2 was the other team in Chang'an County. The signal was connected, but they did not answer. At that moment, they seemed to have understood something. Wang Jiqiao's body seemed to deflate. This monster had most likely killed all of the members of Team 2, and was rushing over here. Logically speaking, it was impossible for it to kill so many people in an instant, without them being able to send a message. Of course, this was theoretically impossible, but no one knew what was going on. At present, Team 2's 1,000 people should be doomed. Calling Commander Qin Feng. Qin Feng's voice came from the earpiece. What's the matter? Commander Qin Feng. Chang'an County has been attacked by an unknown monster. It's at the law realm. Team 2 can no longer be contacted. I'm afraid it's not good. Team 1 has lost nearly half of its members. Requesting backup. What? Qin Feng was shocked. Why would a law realm monster appear on your side? Wang Jiqiao said. I suspect that the monster knows about our plan, and that we've fallen into their trap. Their plan was to blow up Linfeng City, while the others cleared out the monster beasts in the counties around Linfeng City. If the monster beasts knew about the humans' plan, the law realm monster beasts could go to the border counties and kill all the humans there. I suggest we cancel the mission, Wang Jiqiao quickly said. I agree. Cancel the mission, and set up a temporary teleportation array to return. Everyone's lives are the most important. Boom. A terrifying explosion came from the earpiece, and then the signal was cut off. Team leader, what should we do? A girl could not help but cry. Everyone squat down. Don't worry. I'll set up the teleportation array. After saying that, Wang Jiqiao concealed himself and rushed down. He had to hide because he did not have the ability to deal with the law realm monster. He could only set up the teleportation array quietly and bring everyone away. As for the more than 400 people in the square, it could only be said that everyone had their own fate. If they had stayed in the square, and the people in the square had entered the 4 buildings, they would be the ones dead now. Below them, The square had been razed to the ground. Corpses were covered in blood and lying on the ground without any signs of life. Several Thunder Tribulation Realm experts had not died and were fighting with the culprit. It was a person. Lin Xian saw the figure fighting with everyone. It was a person. A monster beast has taken human form. Ling Ying's pupils shrank. Miao Xiaomiao's state of mind was more mature. If it were any other little loli, they would have cried already. She was relatively calm as she said, "A monster beast can take human form at least at the law realm. Can the monster beasts know about our plan?" Lin Xian squatted down again and asked with a frown. Ling Ying shook his head. "How could it be normal? But something like that did happen, so I can only guess." Miao Xiaomiao glanced at Ling Ying and thought of something. Then she said in shock, "Someone leaked it." Chapter 175. Hearing Miao Xiaomiao's words, everyone felt a chill down their spines. "Sister Miao, you're saying that someone leaked the information?" Chu Meng said in disbelief. This was treason, no treason. Humans betrayed humans and sided with the beasts. This was the most intolerable thing. The possibility is very high. Think about it. Although we all knew that we were going to clear out Linfeng City, we only knew the specific plan after we gathered and arrived at Linfeng City. Then the Law Realm beast came. It's also possible that it's a coincidence. Lin Xian said. Ling Ying said. There are 4 possibilities. First, it's a coincidence, but this possibility is very low because it came for everyone. Second, after we got off the chariot, we had a clear target. Someone used some method to pass on the information here to the beasts. Third, the higher-ups of the 3 powers told the beasts about the plan in advance. Fourth, we were seen by the beasts on the way here. They decided to kill all of us who came to Chang'an County and the people from other counties. These are the only 4 possibilities. But we have silently lost contact with the members of the 2nd Squadron. Normally speaking, even if something happened to them, someone from the Enforcement Union should have a few seconds to react and inform the others. But they didn't. This means that they must have all died in an instant. At least, they didn't have the chance to pass on the information. Miao Xiaomiao nodded. That's right. Because of this, we can be more certain that Team 2 fell into a trap and all of them died. Out of the 4 possibilities, we can rule out the first and fourth. Just now, the team leader also realized that someone had leaked the information. He said that they fell into a trap. What kind of situation would be considered a trap? That would be when the enemy knew it was a trap. Wait, I suddenly realized something. Lin Xian looked at everyone behind him, then pulled Miao Xiaomiao and Ling Ying to the side and whispered, "You guys thought about it for so long before coming to this conclusion. Team leader's first report was that we fell into a trap. Now that I think about it, his tone seemed to be very certain. Isn't something wrong?" Their pupils shrank. Something was wrong. Something was definitely wrong. Normally, a person would need time to think, especially in this kind of situation. It was impossible to directly report that they had fallen into a trap. Of course, a person's experience could also allow them to make the fastest judgment. "Are you suspecting the leader?" Miao Xiaomiao said in surprise. That's right. After hearing what Lin Xian said, she also had some doubts. She was well versed in psychology, so she knew more about this. "What I want to ask is, where is the team leader now?" "He went to set up the teleportation array," Ling Ying said. "What if he doesn't?" Lin Xian asked. Let me make a bold guess. If he didn't set up the teleportation array, and instead hid and disappeared, we would all die. Even if some of us were lucky enough to survive and return, he could easily explain that he was attacked or failed to set up the teleportation array. He wouldn't be in any trouble. This is also the reason why he didn't attack us just now if he is a traitor. He was worried that he wouldn't be able to kill all of us in an instant, and would leak the information. At the same time, perhaps he is still human, and doesn't want to kill so many people with his own hands. Lin Xian, that's just your guess. Of course it's just my guess. I like to guess, but according to my previous experience, many of my guesses have a high probability of being correct. But why? He could have gotten a lot of experience points by killing so many of us. But he didn't kill us. Why? Ling Ying frowned. Lin Xian shook his head. I'm not sure. Maybe the demonic beasts gave him a more attractive offer. If this plan succeeded, it would be a qualitative leap for us humans. But if it failed, it would be very difficult for us to do it again. Instead, the demonic beasts would succeed and humans would be unable to strengthen themselves on a large scale. If the demonic beasts knew about this plan, do you think they would choose to cooperate with us? They would. If I were a demonic beast, I would. Miao Xiao Miao nodded her little head and said seriously. Lin Xian said, there's one more thing. Team leader told us to split into 5 groups and enter the 4 big buildings and the plaza. What would happen if everyone was concentrated? It would be very easy for the demonic beasts to kill us. Of course, what he said before was right. But now that something like this happened, it made me suspicious. I can't help but think a little more and think that this was all part of his plan. So now, I suggest we leave the mall. If we don't leave now, we won't be able to escape. Even if it's just a guess, I think choosing the safest plan is the best decision. Okay, I believe you. Miao Xiao Miao nodded, and the 3 of them hurried back. Boom! At this moment, the cinema was directly hit by the terrifying power released by that person, and instantly turned into ruins. One could only imagine what happened to the people inside. Seeing this scene, everyone was shocked and began to scream. Boom! The other supermarket was also destroyed in an instant. This was the power of the Law Realm, destroying a huge building that occupied tens of thousands of square meters, with just a wave of his hand. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian was even more certain that Wang Jiqiao was not a good person. This should have been guessed, but he did not let everyone follow him down. This was where something was wrong. Of course, he might have thought that there were too many people, and they might be discovered. However, in such a huge mall, the right and back doors, while the transformed demonic beast was at the front door. They only needed to go out from the back door, and it would not be easy to be discovered inside the building. With such a huge mall blocking them, he could have set up a teleportation array at the back and sent them back first. But he did not do that. Moreover, this transformed demonic beast's attacks accurately landed on the buildings they went to. It was as if he knew in advance that there were people inside. Run! Lin Xian shouted. If they did not run now, it would be too late. More than 20 floors collapsed. It would be strange if they could survive. Then, Lin Xian subconsciously carried Miao Xiao Miao on his back and pulled Ling Ying's hand as they rushed towards the stairs. However, there were too many people, and the stairs could not be squeezed. Follow me. I'm a dark type. Ling Ying said. Sister Ling Ying and the Gale mercenaries. Miao Xiao Miao said anxiously. Ling Ying looked at the crowd and saw that they had already been pushed away by the crowd. It's useless. It's too late. I can only save you guys. With that, Ling Ying released her dark-type power. The 3 of them flashed in the darkness like 3 rays of light, and appeared in a dark alley, behind a fast food restaurant thousands of meters away. This was the terrifying part of the dark type. Dark places were the dark type's world. If it was not strong, why was the dark type called the strongest type after time and space? Chapter 176. In the dark night, the 3 of them hid in the dark, but they could still see what was happening in the square. They also saw the mall being destroyed with their own eyes. A building with more than 20 floors and dozens of meters tall collapsed. At this time, they probably wouldn't be able to escape in time. They should all be crushed under the ruins. Perhaps some powerful cultivators wouldn't die, but it was hard to say for arcane body realm cultivators. Miao Xiao Miao's beautiful eyes reddened, because her team members were in the building, and should be in the ruins now. Their situation was precarious. They might even be dead. She didn't want to accept this fact. Even if they didn't die under the power of the Law Realm demonic beast, the chances of survival from such a height, and the rubble falling from such a height were really too small. Lin Xian patted Miao Xiao Miao's shoulder lightly and sighed. Everyone has their own fate, and they might not be in danger. Don't be sad. What we should do now is to escape, or even we will die here. Miao Xiao Miao wiped her tears and nodded her head vigorously. She was indeed very sad. But she was different from ordinary little girls. She knew when to grow up. She was sad now, Was crying useful? Could it be salvaged? It was useless. She knew that too. It might even attract the monster's attention. One had to know that a Law Realm monster's perception was already very terrifying. Although they were 1,000 meters away, its perception range was more than 1,000 meters. Ling Ying, can you take us further? Lin Xian asked. Ling Ying shook his head. I can't. I've already used up 3/4 of my spiritual power to travel 1,000 meters with my dark attribute power. Don't you have spatial energy too? Lin Xian shook his head. I'll tell you when we're safe. But now it's gone. Ah. Ling Ying and Miao Xiao Miao were both stunned. The spatial attribute was gone? That was impossible. But if it was, Lin Xian didn't have to hide it at all. Why didn't he release it? Something must have really happened. Then let's leave quickly. He could only walk backward. Although he would go deeper into Linfeng City, there was no other way. There was no cover if he walked forward. Instead, he would be closer to the Demon King. In short, the farther he was from the Demon King, the better. This is the only way. Ling Ying said softly. Can you wait a little longer? I want to see if Wang Jiqiao will appear. Or if he has already run away. Lin Xian looked into the distance. He wanted to confirm this matter. He wanted to know if it was Wang Jiqiao's doing. Logically speaking, the 4 major buildings had already been destroyed. Wang Jiqiao shouldn't have come out. Or run away. Or hide for the time being. Forget it, let's go. Lin Xian took another look and said softly. Following which, the 3 of them slowly crept into the dark alley and made their way to the back of the house. Roar! The next scene caused their pupils to shrink, because when they turned around and were about to reach the end of the alleyway, they saw a black civet cat. It was about 1 meter long, and its level wasn't high. It was only at the arcane body realm 5 stars. However, that wasn't what they were concerned about. What they were concerned about was the movement. Meow. The netherworld civet roared at the crowd and then pounced on them. F***ck. Lin Xian couldn't help but curse in his heart. Their luck was too bad. Boom. Ling Ying froze the netherworld civet in place. Then, with a cold flash of the dagger in his hand, the netherworld civet's corpse fell to the ground. Not good. It's looking over. Miao Xiao Miao had been paying attention to the Demon King in the distance. It was more than 1,000 meters away, so she couldn't see clearly. However, she saw the Demon King coming this way, which was why she said that. That's right. This was what they were worried about. A Law Realm Demon King's perception was too strong. As soon as there was a commotion, he immediately looked over. Let's go. Ling Ying released the last of his spiritual energy and sent them a few hundred meters away. Boom! A few hundred meters away, they heard a huge sound and saw that the place they were just at had turned into a sea of fire. Run! Without any hesitation, the 3 of them ran away. Many demonic beasts passed by them, and there was even a group of demonic beasts chasing after them. Just like many animals, the more you ran, the more they chased after you. However, this wasn't good news. The Demon King would definitely be able to sense it, and might even see the demonic beasts chasing after them. He would definitely come over, and it would be too easy for the Demon King to kill them. At this moment, Wang Jiqiao walked out of the ruins. A trace of ruthlessness flashed in his eyes. They really ran away. Luckily, I didn't kill them at that time. It should be Lin Xian's spatial power that allowed them to run away. If I didn't kill them at that time, if they returned alive, I wouldn't be able to survive. Wang Jiqiao muttered to himself as he stared at the sea of fire in the distance. That's right. He was indeed the spy. He was also the one who spread the news. Everything was premeditated by him. The reason why he didn't kill Lin Xian and the others at that time was because he knew that Lin Xian had the spatial attribute. If he reacted, he could run away, and Wang Jiqiao wouldn't be able to return to the human world. He didn't care whether Lin Xian and the others ran away or not. Even if they returned alive, he would be fine because no one would know that he was the culprit. Cough cough. Team leader. A Thunder Tribulation Realm expert slowly crawled out of the ruins and staggered to Wang Jiqiao's side. Team leader, when will the reinforcements arrive? Is everyone dead? The man looked at the mess around him in horror. Wang Jiqiao nodded. They're all dead. I didn't expect something like this to happen. Let's quickly hide. It's our fault this time. Okay. Then Wang Jichao helped the man to the back of the ruins. Ah. A weak scream came from there. Team leader. You. The man clutched his chest and widened his eyes. He looked at Wang Jichao in disbelief. Then his body slowly fell from Wang Jichao's arms to the ground, and he stopped breathing. The experience of a Thunder Tribulation Realm expert is right in front of me. I can't just waste it. Wang Jichao sneered. Then, he kicked the man's body into the burning flames and burned it clean. Then he walked in a direction. In another pile of ruins, a figure slowly crawled out. This person was Qin Xiaotian. F*CK. Qin Xiaotian cursed angrily. Then, he threw the ice armor he was wearing to the side. If it wasn't for this earth-grade ice armor, he would probably have died here. Then he looked around and revealed a shocked expression. They were all corpses. Not a single person was alive. Wait, there was a Thunder Tribulation Realm expert struggling on the verge of death. Save me. The expert powerlessly stretched out his bloodied right hand toward Qin Xiaotian. Qin Xiaotian immediately rushed over. With a cold smile, a cold light flashed and sealed the expert's throat. A wave of energy rose from his body. Mystic Heaven Realm. He had finally arrived at the Mystic Heaven Realm. Chapter 177. Lin Xian, Ling Ying, and the others continued to flee. They tried their best to run to places with more buildings, because there were more buildings to hide behind. They could also hide from sight. They could still feel the force behind them chasing after them. But it was not moving very quickly. This was because the feeling was intermittent, which meant that the force was still quite far away. However, they just could not pull away. It was able to follow the direction they were running in. It was because of those demonic beasts. And the most awkward thing for them was that they kept running towards the inner part of Linfeng City, because they couldn't run out. So their situation was only a little better for now. Fortunately, they didn't meet any strong demonic beasts. The strongest one was only at the 8 stars arcane body realm, which Ling Ying could kill. Otherwise, if they met any stronger demonic beasts, their footsteps would be hindered. F*CK. Are they crazy? They're only chasing the 3 of us, but there are still others. Lin Xian couldn't help but curse. Miao Xiao Miao said softly. You can't think of it that way. If we stall for more time, we might be able to buy some time for the others to escape. I believe this news has already reached their ears. But we also need backup. They don't know where we are. Ling Ying frowned and said, This won't do. The more we run, the more he'll keep chasing. As long as one demonic beast follows us, we'll be in danger. Lin Xian frowned and said in a low voice, Either we find a place to hide and wait for backup, or we find backup ourselves. The former. The latter, we don't even know where they are. And they might run to an even more dangerous place. Ling Ying said. Lin Xian looked around as he ran. What do you think of that place? Lin Xian pointed to a building that used to be a very small workshop on the left. Okay. The 3 of them rushed over. There probably weren't any demonic beasts living here. Even if there weren't any now. The door was open, and the 3 of them slipped in and closed the door. It was pitch black inside. There was only a small window that allowed them to see outside. They could also see a rather wide area without any tall buildings blocking their view. Damn it! Why is there no signal? Wang Jichao was still able to communicate just now. Miao Xiao Miao waved her phone and said anxiously. Suddenly she thought of something. Then, she took out a SIM card from her pocket and changed it. What is this? Lin Xian whispered. I've modified the SIM card. There's a signal enhancement device inside. Hopefully, it'll be strong enough to send messages. The 3 of them stared at Miao Xiaomiao's phone, looking at the signal strength in the upper left corner. 1 square. Just 1 square. Under such circumstances, it was impossible to make a call. Filled with anticipation, he opened WeChat. Due to the poor connection, the screen kept spinning in circles, and there were no new messages. Lin Xian was slightly taken aback by what he saw. You actually marked me as Big Bad Lin Xian. Hey, why do you still care about this at a time like this? Miao Xiaomiao rolled her eyes at Lin Xian in the dark. 3 minutes later, her phone vibrated slightly. Miao Xiaomiao hurriedly opened it. In the past 3 minutes, the signal had been refreshed. They had received a message from half an hour ago. That's great. Uncle Ba and the rest are fine. Miao Xiaomiao exclaimed in surprise. Fine. Are the cyclone mercenaries and everyone else fine? Lin Xian asked in surprise. Then he looked at the message. It meant that they had used the small mechanical flying claw invented by Miao Xiaomiao to fly directly to another building when the building was about to collapse. So they were fine for now. 20 minutes later, they sent another message asking if they were fine. However, they did not receive any more messages after that. In the next second, Lin Xian suddenly pressed down on Miao Xiaomiao's phone. Because there was light. Shoo! Lin Xian shushed her and looked out the window from the corner of his eye. The window just happened to be facing a four-way intersection, so the view was quite wide. About 100 meters away from them, a figure walked over and looked around. He was the culprit of tonight's incident. Obviously, he was looking for them. However, at this moment another figure came. It was Wang Jichao. Seeing this, Lin Xian confirmed his previous guess. The two of them were chatting. The current situation was that the three of them had to completely conceal their presence. Otherwise, they would definitely be discovered. Lin Xian gestured lightly to Miao Xiaomiao, and she passed the phone to Lin Xian. Lin Xian turned off the sound, revealing the size of the camera. Then he pressed down on the camera button. It only took 5 seconds, but it was enough. This was very important. This was evidence. Otherwise, even if they went back and exposed Wang Jichao, they would have no evidence. Wang Jichao could easily get away with it. Would they choose to believe 3 outsiders, or a high-ranking member of the enforcement union? It was obvious. Ling Ying and Miao Xiaomiao both admired Lin Xian's courage. This move was actually very dangerous. If they were not careful, all 3 of them would die here. Sir, what are you looking for? Wang Jichao asked, puzzled. A few humans. They escaped all the way to somewhere nearby. Sir, it's just a few humans. There's no need to be so formal. Let them escape. The high-ranking members of the 3 major forces are still in Linfeng City. They need you more. Humph. I know that. I don't need you to tell me what to do. Get lost if you should. After saying that, the Demon King gathered a force in his hand. This force rose into the sky and covered the outside of Chang'an County. Then it sped towards the center of Linfeng City. Wang Jichao's eyes emitted a cold light. He paced slowly on the spot, as if he was thinking about something. In this position, he did not have to worry about anything. Even if he was seen, he was not afraid. It was fine as long as he was not seen with the Demon King. Moreover, he did not believe that he would be seen. The chances were too small. Little did he know that he had already been seen. Perhaps Lin Xian and Miao Xiaomiao were too unlucky. Wang Jichao was walking slowly towards them. The 3 of them held their breaths. They could not afford to offend the Demon King, nor could they afford to offend Wang Jichao. He was in the Thunder Retribution realm. This time, both the Divine Temple and the Enforcement Union will suffer heavy losses. If all the high-ranking members of the Enforcement Union are dead, then I can bring back some of them alive. The position of Tianhua City's Enforcement Union president will naturally belong to me, Wang Jichao. At the same time, I will be praised by the world. Even if Tianhua City is gone, I will definitely become the president of another city's enforcement union. Wang Jichao muttered to himself. It was as if he had already imagined that beautiful scene. Right now, the vicinity is blocked by the thunder demonic beasts. They can't leave even if they use the space teleportation array. All the demon kings have rushed to the inner part of Linfeng City to kill all of them. Once these people die, Tianhua City will fall. Now I have to find some survivors and bring them back. Everyone else is dead. If I bring a group of people back alive, then I will have done a meritorious deed. After saying that, Wang Jichao laughed coldly and walked away. Chapter 178. Everything seemed to be predestined. He happened to be within the hearing range of the 3 people, so everything he said was heard by them. This place was safe for now. The danger might be the other beasts, but the powerful demon kings were all gathered in the center of Linfeng City. It's really him. Miao Xiaomiao clenched her fist. A human actually went to harm other humans. For the sake of their own future, they had involved so many people. Once they died, Tianhua City would instantly lose a huge amount of combat power and many experts. Now that the demonic beast organization was attacking the city, Tianhua City would probably be defeated in one blow. There would be countless casualties. They were simply scum beasts. What do we do now? Miao Xiaomiao and Lingying also lost their composure. They looked at the sky. That was the barrier the demon kings released before they left. They probably couldn't get out. Lingying couldn't break the barrier released by the Thunder Retribution Realm beasts, let alone the demon kings in the Law Realm. If they couldn't get out, it meant that they were trapped here. But they could definitely get out. Because this barrier didn't surround the entire Linfeng city, but only the edge of Chang'an County. Therefore, they could go around Chang'an County and walk out from the edge of the other counties. Lin Xian looked at Miao Xiaomiao and asked, "What is a thunder beast?" It's a very special beast. Its combat power isn't strong, but it has a thunder attribute. It can attack with thunder and move as slow as a turtle. However, the thunder beast has a very powerful ability. It can use special thunder to block signals and all kinds of spiritual power equipment within a large range. In other words, within the range of the thunder beast's power, some active spiritual weapons will temporarily lose their effectiveness, including teleportation portals. If it interferes with spiritual power, the teleportation portals won't be able to operate normally. Not strong, is it? Lin Xian rubbed his chin and made a decision. What are you doing? Lingying frowned and looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian then looked at them and said, "You heard Wang Jichao's words. Once this group of strong cultivators is destroyed, Tianhua City will fall. Therefore, we must do something. The Thunder Beast isn't strong, and its combat power is weak. If we get rid of them, we won't have these barriers, right? We might even be able to use the teleportation portals to go back." Lin Xian knew the consequences. He didn't want him and Linya to lose their home. Especially Linya. He didn't want her to be afraid. If Tianhua City fell, they would have to run for their lives. Countless people would have died. They clearly had the ability to stop it, so why didn't they? Lin Xian admitted that he was not someone who cared about the common people. But he knew that he was a human, and a human should do such things. As long as he had a thought in his heart, he would do it. Because he had met. Moreover, it was within his capabilities. If he didn't do it, Lin Xian would really regret it in the future. He even felt that the fall of Tianhua City and the deaths of so many people in Tianhua City in the future were all because of him. Of course, Lin Xian. But this was Lin Xian. If he knew that he could save a city and many lives, he would feel uneasy if he didn't do it. Didn't this mean that Lin Xian still cared about the world in his heart? Lin Xian wasn't sure. We can go back first and let them come back, right? Lingying frowned and looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian rubbed his forehead and said, "Go back? We don't have any transportation tools. Even if we did, it would take 6 or 7 hours to go back and forth, right? They would have died long ago. The price of their death is the fall of Tianhua City. Once they die, the beasts will immediately organize an attack. We won't be able to react in time." But, Lin Xian patted Lingying's shoulder and said, "You guys go back. Leave this to me." Lingying looked at Miao Xiaomiao and asked, "Xiaomiao, if the thunder beasts aren't strong, how strong are they?" Miao Xiaomiao thought for a moment and said, "If I remember correctly, most of them are in the spirit condensation realm, or the chi building realm. It's a luxury for them to reach the arcane body realm. Also, thunder beasts exist for their functions. They are actually responsible for shielding. As for what they can shield, they need something to guide them. For example, they can shield space. Their power can only be used on something in space. Shielding signals is their innate ability. For example, they can shield light. If they release a light attribute power, they can cause an area to fall into darkness. This is the power of thunder beasts. It's not that strong." "Okay, I'll go with you." Lingying looked at Lin Xian and said. Lin Xian shook his head and looked at them and said, "You guys go back. I'll go." Lin Xian didn't want them to be in danger with him. If something happened, he would feel guilty for the rest of his life. Either we go together, or you don't have to think about going. Ling Ying said with certainty. Lin Xian. That's right. Also, how can you guarantee that Sister Ling Ying and I will be safe on the way back after we separate? Miao Xiaomiao said seriously. Lin Xian. It seemed like it was true. They didn't have any means of transportation right now. Without any means of transportation, they were in the demonic beast territory. They couldn't guarantee that they would encounter any danger. And to be honest, Lin Xian thought about it again. Even if they didn't go now, the three of them would have to go back for more than 100 kilometers. Without any means of transportation, the others would be dead, and the chariot outside would probably be destroyed. Would they be safe for more than 100 kilometers? It might not be safer than staying here. If they stayed here and dealt with the thunder beasts, they might be able to find those people and leave together with them. The thunder beasts weren't strong. Thinking about it this way, even if it wasn't for the lives of those people, Lin Xian felt that it was a good choice. That's good. Right now we should be relatively safe. Wang Jichao left, and the Demon King went to the city center. Many of the stronger demonic beasts should have been summoned to the city center to deal with our strongest troops, so the possibility of us encountering a powerful demonic beast is not too high. Relatively speaking, it's safer. Lin Xian pondered. But there's a problem now. Where is the thunder beasts? Miao Xiaomiao asked the key question. Lin Xian thought for a moment and asked, Little Miao Miao, since you were able to receive messages with great difficulty with the SIM card that enhanced the signal just now, normally speaking, there would be differences in signal shielding, right? The further the distance, the weaker the effect. Miao Xiaomiao nodded. That's right. If it's the thunder beasts, my enhanced signal card can't receive any messages, so we're very far away. In other words, the thunder beasts should be in the city center, or somewhere near the city center. Lin Xian's eyes flashed. I'm of the thunder attribute, so I have a certain ability to sense thunder. As long as I can sense thunder within a certain range, it should be where the thunder beasts are. Chapter 179. The three of them retreated and sped towards the center of Linfeng City in the dark. How about we drive a car? Lin Xian asked the two girls. Miao Xiaomiao. Ling Ying. Big brother, are you serious? Ling Ying's mouth twitched as he looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian looked at the countless abandoned cars on the road and really had the urge to do so. Yeah, in 2 or 3 years, we can find a car that isn't damaged and light it up. It should be able to drive. If we don't drive, it'll take us a few hours to get to the city at full speed. If you had said that earlier, we would have found a car to drive back to Tianhua City from the beast territory. We still have to take the risk. Ling Ying rolled his eyes at Lin Xian. Then you guys drive it back. Forget it. Even if we drive back, we'll still die if we meet a beast like the winged leopard during the day. Ling Ying shook his head. Anyway, they had already set the goal of their mission. Kill the thunder beast. Everything else was a story for later. Lin Xian pointed in a direction and said, This car looks pretty good. The three of them walked over. Ka! Ling Ying forcefully unlocked the car door. Lin Xian. Fierce. Ling Ying looked inside and said, It should be fine. The keys are gone, let me check the gas. Then she looked at the gas tank. It's enough for 100 kilometers. Ling Ying looked at Lin Xian and said, 100 kilometers, it's almost the distance to Linfeng City. Miao Xiaomiao went in and said, I'll light it up. Damn, you know how to do that. Miao Xiaomiao rolled her eyes at Lin Xian and said, I'm a natural beauty and extremely smart. I've invented so many things, this is nothing. Amazing. Lin Xian secretly gave her a thumbs up. But there's no electricity. Aren't you of the lightning attribute? Charge the battery. Miao Xiaomiao said to Lin Xian. Lin Xian. Are you sure it won't drop? Are you stupid? Control the intensity of the current? Don't tell me you can't even do that? Lin Xian. He had never tried it before. But it shouldn't be difficult. Then, Lin Xian used the smallest amount of force possible to hold the battery with both hands. Buzz buzz buzz. Sparks flew in all directions. It was really quite exaggerated. Done. Within a few seconds, Lin Xian heard the sound of a car starting up. F*CK. Awesome. Lin Xian lowered the hood of the car. He really admired Miao Xiaomiao. He was indeed a genius. Let me drive. Ling Ying sat in the driver's seat. Wait. Lin Xian looked at a nearby demonic beast that was hiding and preparing to ambush them. Don't you want to go? Shouldn't you hurry up? Ling Ying was exasperated with Lin Xian. Give me 10 seconds. After I deal with that demonic beast, I'll be at arcane body 6 stars. Lin Xian turned into a purple bolt of lightning and rushed forward. The two girls looked at each other. Already at arcane body 6 stars? Miao Xiaomiao was shocked. She also increased by 2 stars, and was now at arcane body 3 stars. Lin Xian was also at arcane body 6 stars, but he needed much more experience to reach arcane body 6 stars. Ding! You have leveled up to arcane body 6 stars. Who? Lin Xian's eyes flashed. Arcane body 6 stars was much stronger than 5 stars. Then Lin Xian got into the car. With a drift sound, the car sped off into the distance. At first, Ling Ying refused because he was worried that the car would attract too much attention. However, after thinking about it, the powerful demonic beast kings should have gone to the city to participate in the battle. The powerful demonic beasts should have gone as well. Therefore, they should be relatively safe. Of course, they had indeed been attacked by demonic beasts along the way, but as they thought, they weren't strong. We'll reach the city in another 10 kilometers. Ling Ying said as he drove. Lin Xian sat in the front passenger seat and frowned as he looked into the distance. He could really see the light in the distance. That should be the light from the battle between the strong. That meant that the main battlefield should be there. And it wasn't just there, it was in several directions. But the general direction was in front. I think we can stop here. The main battlefield is 10 kilometers ahead, and the thunder demonic beasts can't be in the main battlefield. The closest one should be at least a few kilometers away, so we can stop. Lin Xian said. You're pretty smart. Miao Xiaomiao said. Nonsense. Then the three of them got out of the car. Miao Xiaomiao sighed. I wonder how Uncle Ba and the others are doing now. Lin Xian rubbed her hair and said, Don't worry, they escaped and the demonic beast king was chasing us. No matter how bad it is, they should be safe hiding. Miao Xiaomiao gently nodded her head like a chick pecking at rice. Then she suddenly realized something. This Lin Xian was rubbing her hair. Such an intimate action, this slap. In the next second, Miao Xiaomiao slapped Lin Xian's hand away and said coquettishly, How dare you take advantage of this lady? If there's a next time, I'll chop off your perverted pig hand. Lin Xian. Ding. Felt Miao Xiaomiao's shyness, scumbag value plus 20,000. This woman's change in attitude was unimaginable. Stop fooling around, we have to hurry. Ling Ying said. Lin Xian nodded, and his eyes became serious. Then he closed his eyes and sensed. No, it's still too far, I can't sense it. Lin Xian opened his eyes and said disappointedly. Don't be anxious, let's continue forward. With your arcane body 6-star realm ability, it's already very strong for you to be able to sense lightning for a kilometer. And then, they concealed themselves and moved forward quickly and stealthily. At this point, it was already considered dangerous because the demonic beasts should be very strong. But because the main battlefield was ahead, and there were tens of thousands of people, the scale of the battle was definitely huge. The powerful demonic beast kings were fighting against the lightning tribulation realm, law realm, and even domain realm cultivators. The other demonic beasts were naturally fighting against the weaker people of the three factions. Therefore, the demonic beasts here should be rushing to the main battlefield. But if they were not careful, they would definitely encounter them. Little Ying, how far are you from reaching the mysterious heaven realm? Lin Xian asked as the three of them moved forward. If Ling Ying advanced to the mysterious heaven realm, then their safety would be much more guaranteed. Simply put, Ling Ying could fight against a mysterious heaven realm 1st star now, and even kill one. But if she advanced to the mysterious heaven realm 1st star, she could even fight and kill mysterious heaven realm 3rd star demonic beasts. You're still a third away. Lin Xian thought for a moment and said, There's no need to rush this matter. Although the demonic beast kings are strong, there are also many experts from the three factions who came over this time. They shouldn't be unable to handle it. So what I mean is, you should advance to the mysterious heaven realm first. That way, we can ensure our safety. Chapter 180. Ling Ying nodded slightly at Lin Xian's words. That's simple. Do we need to worry about not having any demonic beasts here? Then let's go. Let's find some demonic beasts and kill them to raise your cultivation to the mysterious heaven realm. The three of them continued to move forward at full speed. Previously, they were avoiding demonic beasts, but now they were looking for demonic beasts. 20 minutes later, Ling Ying killed her fifth demonic beast. She was at the 10 stars arcane body realm, and a strong aura burst out from her body. A minute later, Ling Ying opened her beautiful eyes. Mysterious heaven realm, we've arrived. Ling Ying looked at Lin Xian in surprise. Just nice. I can feel the power of lightning. Lin Xian's eyes flashed as he said, Where? Lin Xian pointed to the left and said, It should be about 1 kilometer in that direction. It should be about 6 to 7 kilometers away from the battlefield. And the power of lightning there is endless. Let's go. The three of them sped away. 5 minutes later, Lin Xian saw a blue light in front of them. That was lightning. But they couldn't see the specific situation for now, because it was blocked by a bush. This place seemed to be a green belt before. Shoo! Ling Ying made a SAE sound because she sensed an aura slowly walking over. Under the illumination of the blue lightning, a shadow was gradually approaching. In the next instant, the shadow was frozen in place by Ling Ying's shadow lock. So. The three of them rushed over at the same time. It was a demonic beast similar to a leopard. It was then beaten to death by the three of them without making much noise. They had launched a sneak attack. Even though the leopard was at the mysterious heaven realm 1 star, it was still killed in an instant. The experience was given to Miao Xiaomiao, who rose by 2 stars. She had to ensure that everyone was at the same level to be safe. Otherwise, if the others were at the 6 stars arcane body realm and mysterious heaven realm, while Miao Xiaomiao was still at the 3 stars arcane body realm, it would be difficult for her to protect herself. The three of them slowly walked towards the location of the lightning. When Lin Xian saw the scene in front of him from behind the bushes, he couldn't help but be speechless. These thunder demonic beasts were like snails. They were more than 1 meter tall and 2 meters long. Moreover, there were no less than 20 or 30 of them. They were arranged in a row. Lightning was entwined in their snail shells, as if their shells were transparent. Then, lightning was released from their 2 antennae towards a transparent blue crystal in front of them. These thunderbolts were not offensive thunderbolts in the true sense, but their ability, shielding interference. The crystal in front of him was about the size of a person. Lin Xian could feel the aura of space from it. This was a crystal that contained the spatial attribute. This is the illusory heavenly crystal. When Ling Ying and Miao Xiaomiao saw the illusory heavenly crystal, they were both shocked. Lin Xian was a perfect match for them. He was dumbfounded, because he didn't know him. However, no matter how shocked he was, now was not the time to pay attention to this, but the thunder demonic beast. Boom! Suddenly, a bolt of lightning shot towards them. Ling Ying reacted quickly and released his energy to block it. The three of them quickly turned around. Behind them, there were 2 leopards with blue lightning entwined around their bodies staring at them. Gale Thunder Spiritual Leopard. Lin Xian examined them. Fortunately, one of them was at Mystic Heaven Realm 1 star, and the other one was 5 stars higher than Lin Xian. But compared to them, it should be at Mystic Heaven Realm 2 stars. These 2 demonic beasts and the Gale Thunder Spiritual Leopard should be guarding this place. In fact, the Mystic Heaven Realm was more than enough to guard this place. The main battlefield was in front. As long as the demonic beasts were not defeated, no one would rush out. Moreover, after such a thing happened in other places, no one would go to the more dangerous city center. Therefore, only 3 Mystic Heaven Realm demonic beasts were left to guard this place. Moreover, this news was sealed. Of course, other than their friend Wang Jichao, no one else would know. The demonic beast kings probably didn't think that someone would actually find this place. That minuscule probability allowed Lin Xian and the others to hear Wang Jichao's muttering. Leave these 2 to me. You guys take care of the thunder demonic beasts. Ling Ying's aura suddenly erupted. Will there be a problem? Lin Xian looked at Ling Ying worriedly. Ling Ying's lips curled up slightly. If there's a problem with this, then I can go die. After saying that, Ling Ying rushed forward. You're awesome, okay? Lin Xian mumbled, and then exchanged glances with Miao Xiaomiao. Miao Xiaomiao said, Thunder demonic beasts are low-level demonic beasts. Even if they reach the mystic body realm, they're like mentally retarded. Most of them are similar to working machines. So we're very relaxed. I can see it. The battle had already begun and the commotion was so loud. But these thunder demonic beasts seemed to not hear it. They just kept releasing their energy on the illusory space heaven crystal. Lin Xian and Miao Xiaomiao stood at the back. They didn't react. It feels more like they're being controlled. They only have one goal, which is to release their energy, regardless of whether they're dead or alive. Lin Xian said, It does seem like it. That's even better. Miao Xiaomiao then condensed fire energy in her hands. Miao Xiaomiao was wind and fire dual attributed. In this situation, she naturally had to use fire energy to attack. Lin Xian, on the other hand, condensed the power of lightning. Boom! Two terrifying forces blasted out in an earth-shattering manner. In an instant, lightning and fire exploded. In the blink of an eye, all the thunder demonic beasts were killed. These were all in the spirit condensation realm. It was too easy for them to kill them. Thunder demonic beasts were functional demonic beasts. Their combat strength wasn't strong, but it was hard to imagine that these spirit condensation realm thunder demonic beasts were able to block the signal of the entire Linfeng city. It's hard to imagine that these things can block the signal of the entire Linfeng city. No, of course not. These spirit condensation realm thunder demonic beasts can only block the signal for a radius of 10 kilometers. The only thing that can extend the range of the signal to the entire city is this. Miao Xiaomiao pointed at the illusory sky crystal. Her beautiful eyes sparkled. It was obvious that she really wanted it, but it was too big. She couldn't take it away. Lin Xian looked over. At this time, Ling Ying walked over. Damn, how many seconds has it been? You've already finished the battle? Lin Xian's face was full of shock. Normally it would take a bit of time. But the dark element is the king of the night. As long as you have spirit energy, you can gallop. Ling Ying said. Lin Xian wasn't too familiar with the dark attribute. But Ling Ying was only a 1-star profound heaven realm cultivator. She'd taken less than 20 seconds to finish off 2 profound heaven realm demonic beasts. Lin Xian could roughly guess how strong she was. After all, the dark attribute was known as the strongest attribute after the space and time attributes. The signal block hasn't been removed yet, but it should be removed slowly. Miao Xiaomiao took out her phone and said, It's useless. The battle ahead is so intense. They won't have the chance to set up a teleportation array. Ling Ying shook his head. So I want to ask, what's the point of us coming here to remove the signal? Miao Xiaomiao looked at Lin Xian. Chapter 181. Lin Xian said, It's very meaningful. As long as they know that they can set up a teleportation array to go back, they will definitely choose to break out with all their might. Or, we can set up a teleportation array on the battlefield. Once we succeed, we can go back directly. The demonic beasts naturally won't dare to go in. Also, they can't die. If they die, Tianhua City will be gone. So, we still have to go to the main battlefield now. Ling Ying looked at Lin Xian. Or we can contact the main battlefield. I'm going crazy. Miao Xiaomiao was going crazy. Then she said, First, we don't have the equipment to contact the 3 factions. Second, we can only go to the main battlefield to inform them. But what level of battle is there? Aren't we just going to die? Young Master Lin, please look at the power in the sky. May I ask if you can get close, young master? Miao Xiaomiao said helplessly. Lin Xian said, In the main battlefield, the battle between the strong will definitely be pulled far away. What we are seeing now is actually a battle between the spirit condensation realm, arcane body realm, and mysterious heaven realm. They actually understood. Otherwise, in a battle between the thunder tribulation realm and the law realm, these people of other realms would be instantly killed. Perhaps they could casually release some of their aura, and these people would die. Therefore, their battle was definitely not in the main battlefield. That's true, otherwise, everything we did before would have been useless, Ling Ying said in a low voice. Then let's go. Sister Ling Ying and I both have the wind attribute. Moreover, Sister Ling Ying has the dark attribute. If we can't, we can let Sister Ling Ying release her dark attribute power to send us away, Miao Xiaomiao said. Ling Ying nodded. It's possible. There are so many people on the battlefield. If there's danger, we can run away. No one will notice us. They could only give it a try. Furthermore, that was indeed the case. If they didn't know that they could set up a teleportation array and continued to fight to the death, this was the territory of the demonic beasts. Everyone would definitely die in battle, and Tianhua City would fall. Thinking about it this way, we seem to be shouldering a great mission and responsibility. Even if it's not for glory, for the sake of humanity, for the sake of Tianhua Academy, and for the sake of our loved ones living in Tianhua City, we have to do our part. And this part is still within our capabilities, Lin Xian said. Then let's go. But you must be careful and recover your spiritual power at the same time. Miao Xiaomiao handed each of them a vial of genetic medicine. Ling Ying had consumed a lot of spiritual energy, so he directly stabbed his own arm. Lin Xian had never used it before, so he put it away and said, I didn't use much spiritual energy. I'll keep it for now. Since they couldn't take the illusory space heavenly crystal away, they could only reluctantly leave it here. However, Lin Xian still didn't know what the illusory space heavenly crystal meant. From now on, they were no longer looking for demonic beasts. Instead, they were avoiding them. The main streets were naturally not a place for them to walk. There were too many demonic beasts there. They walked through those dark alleys. These demonic beasts wanted to rush to the battlefield as quickly as possible, so they would definitely run on the main roads. They would rarely run into these dark alleys that wasted time. As they got closer, they could feel the spiritual power surging towards them. Not only could they see light ahead, they could even hear sounds. The roars of various demonic beasts, the roars of humans, and the angry shouts. There were even desperate screams. In front of them was another public square. It was very, very big. After all, this was the city center. It was much bigger than the public square from before. When Lin Xian and the other two hid behind the wall and looked over, they couldn't help but reveal shocked expressions. On the ground there was blood, flesh, and corpses. It was too horrible to look at. The air was filled with the thick smell of blood. If it was a relatively normal person, they wouldn't be able to stand the smell of blood, let alone this scene. Miao Xiaomiao's face was slightly pale, but it shouldn't be a big deal. This huge public square was not only the only battlefield. There were other places further away, left and right, and even some alleys. However, there were still many demonic beasts. If they wanted to hide and run, it would be very difficult. There's someone inside. Suddenly, Lin Xian and the other two felt movement in a small supermarket beside them. The supermarket's door was locked, but the glass was broken. After that, the three of them slipped in. It wasn't a demonic beast. It was a person. A heavily injured martial artist was curled up in a corner, trembling. Are you okay? Lin Xian asked hurriedly. The first thing Miao Xiaomiao did was to take out the gene medicine to help him recover. His face was covered in blood, and his face couldn't even be seen clearly. However, he used the last of his strength to hold Miao Xiaomiao's hand and shook his head lightly. He meant he couldn't be saved. Give it to someone else. This should be a member of the Divine Palace. May I ask if you can contact the higher-ups of the three major forces? Although this scene was very cruel, there was no other way. This was the world. Then, he raised his trembling finger and pointed to a spot not far away. Lin Xian followed his finger and looked over. That was probably their earpiece. Just now at the same time, cough cough, all the headsets exploded. This one is a backup one. It's the commander's must be good battery supermarket, should have channel 119. He said in an extremely weak voice. I understand. Thank you. The headsets exploded. It was probably because they were very close to each other that the signal was blocked and destroyed the electronic equipment. As for the commander's headset, it was normal for him to have the ability to protect it. Miao Xiao Miao walked over and took the headset and handed it to Lin Xian. Lin Xian put it in his pocket. At this time, the man tremblingly took out a phone from his pocket. There was a note under the phone. Please give it to my sister. Thank you. Before he could finish his sentence, he had already lost all his strength and breath. Lin Xian took the man's phone, and the note covered in blood. On the note was an address. As for what he wanted to say, it was probably on the phone. It was quite sad to say, but there were too many situations like this in the world. Don't worry. If I can go back, I'll pass it to her. Lin Xian wiped the man's eyes and closed them. Then Lin Xian quickly turned around and said, Little Meow Meow, go find the number 5 battery. The supermarket must have it. Okay. Then Lin Xian and Ling Ying closed the curtains of the supermarket. This way, the people outside couldn't see in at all. Because the battle outside was very fierce, very few demonic beasts would notice the situation here. Even if they did, they would have opponents. Even if they didn't, they would look for the nearest human and not attack Lin Xian and the others for no reason. Soon Miao Xiao Miao came over with the number 5 battery. Lin Xian quickly installed it and then adjusted the channel. Channel 119. The channel was adjusted. Hey, can you hear me? Hey. Lin Xian frowned. A few seconds later, there was a sound from the other side. It was the sound of heavy breathing, and there was a loud sound beside it. I can hear you. That voice came, but there was a hint of surprise in it. Chapter 182. Lin Xian recognized this voice. It should be the commander, Qin Feng. He should be the strongest among them. However, his voice was filled with surprise. It was as if he was shocked when someone contacted him. This was also normal because before this place had been blocked. They must have tried it, but now the block was removed. Lin Xian could hear the wind howling, as if he was moving at an extremely fast speed. He could even hear the sound of fists colliding. Therefore, Lin Xian was certain that he was fighting. It's like this. The block signal has been removed, and the teleportation circle can be released. So what should we do now? Lin Xian asked. What? It's been removed? Qin Feng replied to Lin Xian while fighting. That's right. Don't you have a teleportation circle? Or do you want to release it? Lin Xian asked. After hearing Lin Xian's words, Qin Feng guessed that he was not from the 3 major factions. He paused for a moment and said, Little brother. Phew. I can't get away from here. The teleportation circle is just a simple teleportation stone. If you have the ability, I hope you can come over. I'll give you the stone. If not, please tell the other members of the 3 major factions. Where are you? I'm near the main battlefield. Lin Xian asked. Can you see the nuclear annihilation? Lin Xian looked around through the window. I see it. It's in that direction, about 3 kilometers. Okay, I'll go over now. When you get there, what's your element? Lightning. Qin Feng took a deep breath and said, When you're nearby, release your lightning into the sky. I'll rush over when I see it. Please. Okay. Lin Xian was about to hang up when Qin Feng quickly said, Wait. What's your name? I'll tell you my name when I can do it. Lin Xian said and hung up. He then looked at the 2 girls beside him. Don't tell me you still want to go? Ling Ying looked at Lin Xian in shock. When they heard Lin Xian's words, they already knew what Lin Xian was thinking. Very shocking. Lunatic. Was this Lin Xian a lunatic? Go. No. It's already crazy enough for you to come here. The other side is where experts, at least in the lightning tribulation realm, are fighting. Even a casual wave of his aura could kill you. How do we get there? Lin Xian then said, The space teleportation array uses a type of space teleportation stone to release its power to achieve the effect of fixed-point teleportation. The teleportation location is probably Tianhua City, so I only need to get that crystal to leave. If I don't go and let someone else go, how would I know where he released the spatial teleportation stone? I'll go. The spatial teleportation stone is in my hands. I can choose the location to teleport to, and we can leave as soon as possible. Even if you run into danger, as long as you get the crystals, you can release them immediately. Actually, Lin Xian's main point was their own safety. If it was taken by someone else, they would have to think about where to release the teleportation array. If it was in Lin Xian's hands, then Lin Xian would have to think about it. All the power was in Lin Xian's hands. Naturally, they would be the safest few. Hearing Lin Xian's words, it was indeed reasonable. But it's still too dangerous. Lin Xian smiled. Not necessarily. That Commander Qin Feng will definitely protect me. So you two stay in this supermarket. After I get it, the first thing I'll do is to come here and activate the teleportation array. This was the main battlefield, the place with the most people and strength. Protecting Tianhua City depended on them, not the other spirit condensation realm warriors in the other counties. These people were more important. Releasing the teleportation array here was definitely the best choice, because the greatest danger had already gathered here. The people in the other counties, those who deserved to die were already dead. And those who didn't die were probably already running away. Only Chang'an County was set up with a barrier. And the people in Chang'an County were all dead. So there was no need to go there. They just needed to release the teleportation array here. Sometimes being selfish was the only way to survive. You can go against everything, but you can't go against your own life. I'll go with you. Ling Ying looked at Lin Xian and said, I'll go by myself. No, I want to go. Ling Ying was worried that something would happen to Lin Xian, and the possibility of something happening was very high. Miao Xiao Miao also said, we can all go. Sister Ling Ying is a dark and wind elementalist, and I'm a wind elementalist. Our safety is guaranteed. Wind elementalist. In front of a strong person, speed was nothing. You guys stay here and wait for me to come back. The more people that go, the easier it is to be exposed. Lin Xian said. Then let me go. I already told him to use thunder as a signal. Do you have thunder? Then I also want. Lin Xian scolded. If you continue to be stubborn, I'll really get angry. Then Lin Xian patted Ling Ying's shoulder and said, just trust me. With that, Lin Xian slipped out. Sister Ling Ying. Miao Xiao Miao looked worriedly at Lin Xian's back and asked Ling Ying. Trust him. Ling Ying let out a sigh. The good news now was that the signal was no longer blocked. Lin Xian's phone was still on him, and they could contact each other anytime. At this time, Miao Xiao Miao's phone vibrated. She quickly took it out, and saw that it was a message from Wang Ba. That's great. Everyone is fine. Ling Ying quickly said. Quickly ask about the situation at the border. After a while, Miao Xiao Miao looked at Ling Ying and said, they went from Chang'an County to another county. That place has been destroyed. The communication on the other side has been restored, and half of the tens of thousands of people are dead. Not only us and Team 2 fell into the trap, but the other teams also fell into the trap. Half of them died. Ling Ying's face turned pale. This was an incomparably failed operation. D***it. That Wang Jichao can't atone for his sins even if he dies 10,000 times. Ling Ying gritted her teeth. It was because Wang Jichao gave the information to the demonic beasts that this happened. Then Miao Xiao Miao said, now Wang Jichao is gathering the survivors. He will release the teleportation array and send them away. He doesn't care about this anymore. Uncle Ba said that he couldn't contact the commander. He probably threw away the equipment on purpose. This way Wang Jichao will be credited. Without him, the remaining 20 to 30,000 people would still die. Good plan. Ling Ying gritted her teeth. Miao Xiao Miao said. But on the bright side, at least those people will be able to leave alive. There's nothing we can do about the dead. The most important thing left is the strong martial artists from the three major forces around us. If they are all killed, Tianhua City will be in real danger. Wait, since there are teleportation crystals over there, does Lin Xian still need to go over? Let me ask. Chapter 183. Soon Miao Xiao Miao received a reply. We have teleportation crystals, but we don't have enough. I'm afraid we can only send 10,000 people away. The remaining 10,000 people will have to walk back or wait for reinforcements to pick them up. That's why we still need the teleportation crystal that Lin Xian went to find. Since it's in the hands of the commander-in-chief, It should be the one with the strongest energy. His mission is to send the people of the three major factions away. Even if they have enough teleportation crystals, they still have to go because the main battlefield is over 100 kilometers away from the border cities. It's too far. Ling Ying sighed. Miao Xiaomiao was worried about the wind mercenaries. Now it was Lin Xian's turn. If they were more selfish, they could have just left after dealing with the Thunder Beast. No, they didn't even need to deal with the Thunder Beast. When they saw the Demon King rushing here, they could have gone to another city and left. After all, it was a distance of over 100 kilometers. They might not even die, but they chose to come here. It couldn't be said that it was Lin Xian's choice. In fact, it was their choice too. They knew that if the experts of the three major factions all died here, then Tianhua City would fall. The demonic beasts would organize an attack immediately, and the humans wouldn't be able to defend themselves. So they chose to take the risk and come here. That's right. Tianhua City was where they lived for so many years. They didn't want it to fall. This was also why they didn't try to stop Lin Xian. Perhaps it was because they had the same thoughts as Lin Xian. In fact, Lin Xian's original goal wasn't to save the people in the city, but to save the people of the three major factions. Weren't they equivalent to the firefighters, or the People's Liberation Army on Earth? They were on the front lines of danger. Even if they wouldn't pay a huge price to save a person, it had to be said that every city relied on them to protect it. Every time the demonic beasts attacked a city, they would definitely be at the front lines. Perhaps it had been like this for generations. Perhaps it was because of this that their family members were gone. Lin Xian was touched by the person from before. In fact, Lin Xian felt that there was nothing wrong with being a hero at the front lines, right? On the contrary, he felt proud. Even in death, he would be proud. It was just that there were fetters, but he was unable to take that step. However, Lin Xian would definitely admire him. Lin Xian's figure dashed forward in the darkness. Of course, at the same time, he was mindful of the danger. He was lucky. Most likely, all the demonic beasts were focused on the main battlefield. None of the demonic beasts noticed Lin Xian's figure in the dark alleyway. 2 kilometers away, Lin Xian's jaw dropped when he saw the scene before him. Oh my God! What a terrifying battle between experts. This place was supposed to be a pedestrian street, but it was very prosperous and had many buildings. However, when Lin Xian arrived, he saw that the place had been destroyed. It was completely razed to the ground. All kinds of houses were destroyed. It was as if a missile had completely annihilated this place. However, Lin Xian knew that this was caused by the power released by those powerhouses. This was why the weak couldn't even get close to the strong. It was because a casual release of his aura could kill you to the point that you couldn't be more dead. All these tall buildings were razed to the ground. What more people? On the ground, the demonic beasts and humans' corpses were almost all incomplete. Their deaths were extremely tragic. Don't tell me they're almost all dead? Lin Xian was secretly speechless. There were definitely a lot of corpses here. Moreover, the surroundings were relatively quiet. In other words, the battle here seemed to be almost over. As for which side won, Lin Xian wasn't sure. Boom! A loud sound came from afar, accompanied by flames. Lin Xian felt as if the ground was shaking. He could also feel the battle in the surrounding areas. There shouldn't be many people left. Otherwise, the battle wouldn't be so sparse. In this battle, both the demonic beasts and humans suffered heavy losses. However, for the demonic beasts, it was definitely not a loss. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. Lin Xian released purple lightning all over his body. Then he soared into the sky. In the dark night, the thunder in the sky was quite eye-catching. Then Lin Xian hid at the side, because he was worried that he would attract the demonic beasts. A few seconds later, Lin Xian saw an extremely terrifying energy erupt from the horizon. It was also lightning, and it was much stronger than his. It looked like a big move, and the sky seemed to be entangled by lightning. Lin Xian felt that the difference between his thunder and that thunder was at least tens of thousands of times, right? Then, Lin Xian felt an aura rushing towards him. In a few seconds, it was already close to him. Boom! A bolt of lightning shot into the ground not far from Lin Xian. The ground trembled. A huge hole appeared and dust flew up. Then a figure rushed out from the dust. Then he hurriedly looked for something. When Lin Xian saw him, he immediately recognized him. This was Qin Feng. Although there was blood on his body, and he was in a sorry state, he could still recognize his clothes. Then Lin Xian walked out. When Qin Feng saw Lin Xian, he quickly rushed in front of him and took out a transparent crystal. There's no time. This is a spatial teleportation crystal. Find a place and pour your spiritual energy into it for more than 2 minutes. Then it will open and set up a teleportation array. Then it will send people directly to Tianhua City. Lin Xian took the crystal. This was why they couldn't open it when they were fighting. 2 minutes of spiritual energy. In this kind of battlefield, even a few seconds was a luxury. How could it be 2 minutes? After all, such a powerful crystal indeed needed time to release its power. Then what about you? Qin Feng sighed and said, "We've suffered heavy losses here. Almost everyone has fallen. There's an extremely strong demon beast in front that I've temporarily trapped. However, I have to stop it. Otherwise, everyone will die. Everyone's lives are in your hands. I'll release it near the main battlefield and let the people from the 3 major powers enter. There are already people from other places that have organized to bring them back. After all, almost all the strong demon beasts have been attracted here. They should be safe for now. Yes, and the demon beasts won't dare to enter. Otherwise, they'll enter Tianhua City and die." Qin Feng nodded and said, "The failure of this mission had a huge price to pay. However, it also gave them a wake-up call." "Then can you come back?" Lin Xian asked. Qin Feng said, "If there's a chance I can go over. However, before that, I have to hold off that demon beast. Don't worry about me. Bring everyone away. Also, the first thing you do when you return is immediately report to the 3 major powers. Tell them to immediately gather experts from all the major cities to guard Tianhua City." "Okay." Then Lin Xian was about to go back. "Wait, what's your name?" Qin Feng asked. "Lin Xian." After saying that, Lin Xian sped away into the night. "Lin Xian." Qin Feng's eyes flashed, and he returned to the previous battlefield. Chapter 184. Lin Xian made it back to the supermarket safely. They were still there. The battle was still ongoing. However, after a quick glance, he estimated that there were less than 3,000 people left. If this dragged on any longer, a few hundred of them would die in just a minute. How was it? Seeing that Lin Xian had returned safely, Ling Ying heaved a sigh of relief. Lin Xian took out a crystal and said, "I need 2 minutes of spiritual energy infusion. Find a safe place, and I'll inform them." Lin Xian wanted to leave the dangerous things to himself. Although his strength was not as high as Ling Ying's, he would not allow his woman to do dangerous things. "I'll go with you. I'll let Xiao Miao inject spiritual energy." "No, you have to protect her. Go to the back of the supermarket. It should be safer there. It's also very close to the battlefield." "I'm going." After saying that, Lin Xian rushed out. Ling Ying and Xiao Miao did not dare delay, and quickly went to the back of the supermarket to activate the teleportation circle. Bang! Lin Xian's figure dashed around the battlefield. As long as the demon beasts were not too strong, Lin Xian had no problem running away. His goal was not to kill the demon beasts. The main reason was that their headphones were broken. When they were turned on, they were blocked, and then directly disrupted. Otherwise, they would have been able to run away with just a notification. The only good one was because there was no battery installed, and it was not turned on. "Everyone, activate the teleportation circle behind the supermarket in 2 minutes. Commander Qin Feng has ordered us to retreat through the teleportation circle." Lin Xian shouted as he dashed through the battlefield. Bang! A bolt of lightning struck Lin Xian, and his figure flew out, landing heavily on the ground. Fuck! Lin Xian gritted his teeth and stood up. Lightning flash. Boom boom boom. His hands continued to condense lightning flashes, one after another like a human turret. The demon beast was blasted to death. After that, Lin Xian continued to dash around the battlefield, shouting this sentence. The first reaction of everyone who was fighting was not to retreat to the back of the supermarket. Instead, They immediately stopped fighting and switched from fighting to dodging the attacks of the demonic beasts. They cooperated with Lin Xian to pass this message to the other battlefields, because they heard that the teleportation circle would activate in 2 minutes. If they went over now, wouldn't they be moving the battlefield over there? They had to wait for the teleportation circle to fully activate before they could go over. These 2 minutes were very long, because they had to constantly dodge the attacks of the demon beasts. Most of them were stronger than Lin Xian. Fortunately, he could continuously exchange agility, which allowed him to double his speed. This allowed him to be slightly safer in this kind of battlefield. Meow. Meow. The one who spoke was a beautiful little loli. Her big eyes scanned the surroundings, and then she waved her hand. A building that was tens of meters tall fell, falling right in the middle of the battlefield. If it fell, many of them would die. However, the other tall woman raised her hand slightly, and the building rose up again and fell to the other side. Then she said in an emotionless voice, "If they can leave, it means that they are not dead yet. There is no need to force them to die. But if that's the case, it will take a lot of effort to attack Tianhua City. I don't want to," the little loli said with a look of dissatisfaction. "Remember, our mission is to let the demon beasts be kings, not to kill. You have been brainwashed by them all these years." The lady looked at the little loli and said softly, "Oh, I don't care. Even if they don't die, that person must die." The little loli pointed at Lin Xian, who was running in the middle of the battlefield. After speaking, she casually slapped her palm over. All of a sudden, Lin Xian and the others felt an overwhelming force coming at them. The area of effect was probably no less than a few hundred meters. All the buildings around them were destroyed. They would probably be crushed to death by this force in the next second. At this moment, the force disappeared. This made Lin Xian dumbfounded. "Meow, what are you doing?" The little loli unwillingly stomped her feet. "You must leave the 10,000 Demon Alliance." The lady frowned and was even a little angry. "No," the little loli said in a clear voice. "Then I can only put you in confinement." After speaking, her slender fingers flicked slightly. A wormhole appeared in the air, and the little loli was sucked in. Then, she looked at Lin Xian in the crowd and muttered, "This person must die. Otherwise, the 10,000 Demon Alliance will not be able to answer." The 10,000 Demon Alliance was the strongest force of the demon race. All the members there were demon beasts in human form. They were like the 3 major forces of the human race. Every operation was organized by the upper echelons of the 10,000 Demon Alliance. They were the strongest existences of the demon race. Of course, except for some neutral demon beasts. Schwa. At the back of the supermarket, a blue light shot into the sky. Everyone noticed this and rushed over. The demon beasts chased after them. They rushed over and fought back. Then, they blocked the supermarket in an orderly manner and let the people behind go first. Lin Xian also rushed over. Whoosh! At this moment, Qin Feng's figure rushed over. A terrifying force was released. All the demon beasts in his line of sight were instantly turned into ashes by the lightning. Quick! Everyone enter the teleportation array. Qin Feng was protecting them. Lin Xian rushed over and looked at Miao Xiao Miao and Ling Ying and said, "Quickly go in. They would be safe once they stepped in." As for the rest of the Gale mercenaries, they should have used another teleportation array, or been sent away by other means. In short, they were safe for now. Ling Ying and Miao Xiao Miao did not suspect anything and quickly walked in. They thought that Lin Xian would follow closely behind. Lin Xian secretly stuffed the phone and the note into Ling Ying's windbreaker pocket. After seeing them leave, Lin Xian immediately rushed in another direction. Some people saw it, but no one noticed. They rushed into the teleportation array and left this nightmare land. Qin Feng wiped the blood and frowned as he looked into the distance. He seemed to have sensed a figure rushing in that direction. However, after he sent these people back, he needed to go to the various cities to check on the situation there. The demon beasts here had been dealt with for now. The strongest law realm and domain realm cultivators had died. He was the only one left. The others had all died in battle. However, the demon beasts' losses were also great. However, Humans could not compare their losses to the demon beasts. Lin Xian sent a message to Ling Ying as he ran. He was worried that Ling Ying would do something stupid if he did not see him return. As for the reason, he had already made it up. He would say that he followed Qin Feng to protect everyone. This way, she would feel more at ease. Chapter 185. Previously, the signal was blocked, so Lin Xian did not reply to Lin Ye in time. She was really anxious, but Lin Xian had now replied to her. Lin Xian also heaved a sigh of relief. The reason why he wanted to leave alone was because of the illusory space heavenly crystal. On the way here, Lin Xian learned about the illusory space heavenly crystal from them. It was a kind of spatial spiritual treasure that was born from heaven and earth. It contained a great amount of spatial power. This was completely different from the spatial crystals that were created. This definitely met the standards of absorption. Normally, seeing a fist-sized piece was already heaven-defying, and such a large piece was unheard of. It was a pity that he couldn't take it away. Because it was a spatial attribute, Lin Xian wanted to take the risk. Space was one of the two strongest attributes, and the illusory space heavenly crystal was a rare spatial attribute spiritual treasure. It was probably because the 10,000 Demon Alliance couldn't help but take out such a large illusory space heavenly crystal to let the Thunder demonic beast block the power of space. But this was also an opportunity. Lin Xian might not be able to take it away, but it didn't matter, because Lin Xian only cared about the spatial attribute power of the illusory space heavenly crystal. Logically speaking, such a large and rare illusory space heavenly crystal should be enough for him to activate the spatial attribute, right? If he missed this opportunity, there wouldn't be another one. So Lin Xian had to go. If it was only a fire attribute or some other attribute spiritual treasure, Lin Xian could give it up. But he couldn't give up on a spatial attribute. He might never meet it again in the future. So he couldn't miss this opportunity. Moreover, Lin Xian only dared to go because he had a certain amount of confidence. First, most of the powerful demonic beasts in Linfeng City were actually dead. The 10,000 Demon Alliance had also suffered a great loss this time. Moreover, they had miscalculated and didn't include Lin Xian. Otherwise, everyone would still be dead. However, Lin Xian had indeed turned the situation around and let them go back. Second, there were fewer powerful demonic beasts. If Lin Xian was fast enough, he might be able to leave with Wang Jichao's team. In fact, the 10,000 Demon Alliance didn't miscalculate this time. They had sent an extremely strong existence, that little lowly. As long as she made a move, the strongest Qin Feng would be instantly killed. Once Qin Feng's death, the others wouldn't be able to kill many demonic beasts. However, the 1,000 Demon Alliance didn't expect that little lowly would be stopped by her sister. But no one knew this. The lady in the observation tower watched Qin Feng and the others leave. Then, her beautiful eyes swept over to Lin Xian. This made her extremely curious. Why didn't he left? Logically speaking, this was a completely abnormal move. She had originally wanted to grab Lin Xian from the void, so that he wouldn't be able to escape. However, after seeing his abnormal behavior, she became curious and wanted to see what he was trying to do. In her eyes, Lin Xian was a dead man. Because of Lin Xian, the humans should have been completely annihilated. But in the end, only half of them were lost. Moreover, the strongest was still alive, and half of the three major forces ran away. This was equivalent to the 10,000 Demon Alliance's mission failing. She could stop it. No matter how strong Qin Feng was, he would still die with a casual strike. However, she was actually neutral, but not completely neutral. In short, she didn't want to kill everyone. Therefore, she didn't stop it. Instead, she stopped her sister from killing. However, Lin Xian was a dead man. Only by killing him could she explain to the 10,000 Demon Alliance and her sister. She only needed to say that it was unexpected. However, if he was killed, even if the 10,000 Demon Alliance had objections, they could only compromise. To her, killing Lin Xian was just a matter of moving her finger. However, she wanted to see what Lin Xian wanted to do. Whoosh! Lin Xian drove the car from before towards the direction of the illusory space heavenly crystal. He only hoped that the illusory space heavenly crystal was still there. The chances of it being there were quite high, because the powerful demon kings were all dead. So no one would take the illusory space heavenly crystal. The reason why they dared to leave the illusory space heavenly crystal, there was actually, because they didn't think that someone would come over and find it. Of course, this illusory space heavenly crystal was brought here by the little lowly. Of course, she couldn't take it away because it was locked away. Lin Xian didn't discover a super strong expert following him. If he could discover it, then Lin Xian would also be a super strong expert. Because there weren't many demonic beasts left, some of them weren't too strong, and the strongest was only at the arcane body realm. For Lin Xian, who was currently at the 6 stars arcane body realm, even if he encountered a 10 stars arcane body realm demonic beast, it wouldn't be impossible for him to fight. Lin Xian drove the car and sped along the wide road. It was less than 10 kilometers away, so driving was extremely fast. 10 minutes later, Lin Xian drifted and stopped. In the darkness, he still saw that ray of light. Lin Xian heaved a sigh of relief. This proved that the illusory space heavenly crystal was still there. After Lin Xian got out of the car, he quickly ran over. At such a close distance, Lin Xian could clearly feel the power of space, but it didn't leak out. When the distance was very, very close, Lin Xian actually had an impulse to not dare to move forward. That's right, he didn't dare to reach out his hand. This illusory space heavenly crystal made Lin Xian feel that it was filled with all kinds of spatial laws. It could be spatial compression, spatial explosion, and so on. If his hand were to reach in and be directly compressed, wouldn't that be terrible? According to common sense, when encountering some heaven and earth spirit treasures, directly touching them was generally the most foolish action. Perhaps you would already be killed by the power released by the heaven and earth spirit treasure before you could obtain it. But if he didn't touch it, Lin Xian felt it for a moment, but he was unable to absorb the power of this illusory space heavenly crystal. If he couldn't absorb it, he wouldn't be able to unlock the spatial attribute. Therefore, he had to try. Above the void, the woman saw Lin Xian. So it's for the illusory space heavenly crystal. The woman was expressionless. Those who are blinded by benefits deserve to die, she muttered, as if she had found a reason for herself. She originally wanted to directly crush the void and kill Lin Xian, but she was afraid of damaging the illusory space heavenly crystal. Then she landed on the ground. Suddenly, he felt an aura appear beside him. Lin Xian's body paused, and the dragon rain sword instantly appeared in his hand. Even though he turned around, he saw a fairy in a white dress. This woman didn't release any aura, but she gave Lin Xian an unfathomable feeling. Too mysterious. However, even though he had seen so many top-grade beauties, Lin Xian was still incomparably shocked when he saw her. She was tall and slender, with incomparably fair skin. Her beautiful hair was simply tied up, and she wore a pure white fairy dress. Her eyes were especially mesmerizing, as if you stared at her eyes for a few seconds, you would be forever trapped in her deep pupils. Although she was wearing a veil, Lin Xian felt that this should be an extremely beautiful fairy. Most importantly, her aura was as cold as a mountain, so noble that it made one want to submit to her unconsciously. That's right, too noble. It was not an exaggeration to say that she was a fairy. This kind of aura was something that Lin Xian couldn't feel from Linya. It was as if it could only be manifested when a person reached a certain special state. Ding! Congratulations to host for triggering the mission. Tease a mysterious woman. Mission time limit, 3 days. Mission punishment, level dropped by 2 levels. Mission reward, space speed increased by 10%. Current mission progress, 0%. Lin Xian. Chapter 186. Really? Lin Xian wanted to kill this system. Why don't you take a look at the time of triggering the mission? This woman clearly didn't come with good intentions, okay? And if you want to trigger it, so be it. Can you not have a mission penalty? And the mission time limit is 3 days. What is this for? Is this forcing me to drop a level? Damn it. Also, What the hell is this 10% increase in the mission reward space? I don't understand at all. Lin Xian released his Eye of Cave Spirit on her. Level. Attributes. For attributes. Lin Xian. Damn it. The woman stared at Lin Xian, then slowly reached out her slender hand and flicked her index finger. Lin Xian reacted quickly and moved 10 meters to the side with instant shadow. Then he opened his mouth wide. Boom! The woman flicked her index finger lightly, and a force like a knife that could split heaven and earth rushed toward Lin Xian's previous position. All the buildings in its path were instantly turned into ashes. When he looked back, he didn't know how far the force had flown. It was at least 1,000 meters. The line of buildings that were 1,000 meters wide were destroyed. Damn it! With just a finger, a building dozens of meters wide was turned into ruins. Is this a god? Is she a human or a demon? If she's a demon, damn it. Such a person can destroy an entire city with a wave of her hand, right? Damn it. This was a true expert, wasn't it? What level is she at? Domain realm cultivators can't do it. At least heavenly venerable realm cultivators. That's around level 70 to 80. Lin Xian didn't know if such an existence existed in the human race. There should be. Otherwise, the human race would have been extinct long ago. And she wanted to kill him. She wanted to kill him. In such a place, she shouldn't be a human, right? Oh, seeing Lin Xian release the power of teleportation, her eyes lit up. Then, she flicked her finger at Lin Xian again. Whoosh! Lin Xian dodged the attack once again, and another kilometer-wide area of several tens of meters was destroyed. Big sister, what have I done to you? I'm so weak, is it worth it for you to attack me? Lin Xian was helpless. He was even in despair. What was going on? How could an existence of such a level suddenly appear? The woman didn't say anything. She stretched out her hand again. You're so strong, yet you want to kill such a weak martial artist. Aren't you ashamed? Boom. Another terrifying power was released. Fortunately, Lin Xian had Blink Shadow, or else he would have been dead. Now Lin Xian was filled with regret. Why didn't they leave together? The main reason was that he would never have imagined that he would encounter such an existence. All right. Wheel of Fortune. Lin Xian glanced at her. She didn't seem to be in a hurry. She was just moving her fingers to kill him. That meant that Lin Xian could live for a few seconds, or even a few seconds. Ding! You have successfully extracted the True Flame Exploding Bullet. I want your F*King True Flame Exploding Bullet. This True Flame Exploding Bullet could only kill a mysterious Heaven Realm martial artist. This level was not even enough to scratch an itch. He needed something like the God of War's will to survive. Are you sure you want to use 2 million scum points to draw the lottery? Yes. Lin Xian dodged while drawing the lottery in his mind. The lottery cost had increased from 1 million to 2 million, but it didn't matter. Survival was more important. Ding! You have successfully extracted the inflatable doll. Lin Xian. The F*CK? The woman was stunned. Suddenly, she saw a doll fall out from Lin Xian's side. She didn't know what it was, and even thought it was a spiritual weapon. Then with a light flick the doll exploded. Lin Xian. Ding! You have successfully extracted the yellow grade skill, Extreme Thunder. Ding! You have successfully extracted the Secret Promise of Heart. Ding! You have successfully extracted the Obedient Spray, Powder. Ding! You have 5 chances to draw the lottery today. You have used up all your chances. Lin Xian. Lin Xian was about to go crazy. What was this? The key was that after spending 2 million, you could still draw a yellow grade skill. What the hell was this? What was the other thing about the Secret Promise of Heart? The woman was slightly stunned when she saw Lin Xian's hand move inexplicably like magic, but she couldn't be bothered to waste time. In the next moment, Lin Xian felt the surrounding space being compressed. It was too late. No, he couldn't die. He couldn't die. Whoosh! In the next second, Lin Xian rushed to the illusory sky crystal beside him. Fight to the death. Lin Xian jumped directly to the illusory sky crystal. Then he actually disappeared in front of the illusory sky crystal. To be precise, it was as if he had entered the space of the illusory sky crystal. The woman frowned slightly. The illusory sky crystal had extremely strong spatial power. Who knew what kind of spatial power you would encounter when you touched it? Compression, explosion, strangulation, separation. No matter which one it was, it could instantly take a person's life. And there was only one possibility for Lin Xian to disappear here. He had coincidentally entered the space of the illusory sky crystal. This was the only possibility that wouldn't instantly take his life. This was precisely spatial teleportation. It would only teleport him to the interior of the illusory sky crystal. Entering the space of the illusory sky crystal, he will definitely die. It doesn't matter if he dies. Then, she stretched out her hand, and the illusory sky crystal disappeared on the spot. Lin Xian opened his eyes. He felt that he was constantly falling. F***ck. He suddenly realized that he seemed to have entered a blank universe. His surroundings were pitch black, so black that there was not a single bit of light. He seemed to be in a boundless universe without any light. He probably wouldn't be able to stop for the rest of his life. This can't be the internal space of the illusory sky crystal, right? Lin Xian opened his mouth and tried his best to stabilize his body in the air. Damn! It seemed like he wouldn't be able to live, even if he escaped from the devil's claws. This way, he would only die a little later. Tianhua City. Ling Ying and Miao Xiaomiao walked on the streets in a daze. Big sister Ling Ying, do you think Lin Xian really went to save people with Chief Commander Qin Feng? Miao Xiaomiao bit her lips. They both hated themselves for not letting Lin Xian enter the teleportation array first. Otherwise, this wouldn't have happened. They also didn't think that Lin Xian wouldn't come back. Lin Xian told them that he followed Qin Feng to save people. But why did they feel that something was wrong? Ling Ying nodded and gently rubbed her hair, saying, "Since Lin Xian said so, then it must be so. Don't worry, most of the powerful demonic beasts over there are dead. With Chief Commander Qin Feng, Lin Xian should be fine. Go back and rest." Oh, then Lin Xian came back. Big sister Ling Ying, remember to tell me. Okay. Then they separated. How could Ling Ying not understand Lin Xian going to save people with Qin Feng? No, she didn't think so. There must be another reason. He had thought of it long ago. He also deliberately let them enter the teleportation array first. But what could she do? She didn't want her boyfriend to die right after they started dating. She hurriedly made a call, but it said that he wasn't in the service area. That's not right. Without signal blocking, they could even get through in Linfeng City. It was fine even if the phone was turned off. But how could he not be in the service area? Chapter 187. Ling Ying bit her lip. No. She had to go and take a look. She had to go and take a look even if she was going to save the people in Linfeng City, who didn't have teleportation crystals. Ling Ying found the team that was going to save the people and followed them. Linya called her to ask about Lin Xian's situation. Ling Ying lied to Linya and told her that he was fine. Bastard. You're crazy. Why do you have to make people worry? Ling Ying gritted her teeth. Lin Xian did make them worry. But it was something that Lin Xian had to do. As for Miao Xiaomiao, she wasn't an ordinary girl. She naturally guessed that Lin Xian wouldn't be here just to save someone. Grandpa. Xiaomiao. Miao Jinghao hugged Miao Xiaomiao. He already knew about this from the Bounty Hunter Guild. Seeing that his granddaughter was fine, he burst into tears. Grandpa, Xiaomiao is fine. But Lin Xian might be in trouble. Grandpa, you have to find someone to save Lin Xian. Lin Xian? Tell me what happened. Miao Xiaomiao explained. What if Lin Xian was really there to save people? Wouldn't it be a waste? Even so, it's still dangerous. Miao Xiaomiao said anxiously. That's true. After all, that's the territory of the beasts. You rest at home. Grandpa will find someone to contact Commander Qin Feng. 5 minutes later, Miao Jinghao came out. Grandpa, what's the situation? Miao Jinghao ruffled Miao Xiaomiao's hair and said, It's okay, don't worry. He's following Commander Qin Feng. You should rest well. You're injured and need to recuperate. Miao Xiaomiao sighed in relief. Then she said, I don't want to rest. I want to wait for Lin Xian to come back. Okay. Grandpa will go back to work. With that, Miao Jinghao walked away. As he walked away, he frowned. Of course. The news he received was that Lin Xian wasn't with Qin Feng. That meant there was danger. But he didn't dare to let Miao Xiaomiao worry, or put herself in danger, so he could only keep it a secret. Then, he went to find people to follow the reinforcements to search for Lin Xian. Miao Xiaomiao was very happy at first. Then, she took out her phone and saw that Lin Xian was offline. Did his phone run out of battery? Since I'm following Commander Qin Feng, there shouldn't be any problems. The demonic beasts have been taken care of for the time being, so calling him should be fine, right? And he's definitely on silent mode. Then, Miao Xiaomiao made a call, and the prompt was, he was not in the service area. This time, Miao Xiaomiao could no longer remain calm. No, her grandfather lied to her. Miao Xiaomiao rushed out. An hour later, Lin Xian opened his eyes again. He was still falling. Fortunately, there was air here. Otherwise, he would have died. What should we do? What should we do now? Lin Xian really didn't know what to do. He guessed that he was in the internal space of the illusory space heaven crystal. But how could he get out? If I absorb the spatial energy here, I can make this place disappear. I should be able to get out. And I can also activate the spatial attribute. But how do I absorb it? Lin Xian knew that although this place looked big, it was like he was repeating a cycle. In other words, there might only be a space of 10 meters. But after falling 10 meters, he would start from the beginning again. This endless cycle would give people the illusion that he was constantly falling. Because no matter how awesome something was, it was impossible for it to have an infinite space. But how could he absorb it? Lin Xian didn't know. He couldn't do it. This was different from normal situations. Even if he knew, what could he do? What could he do? Hey, cheating system, can you give me a way? Lin Xian sighed. Please respect me. Thank you. That cute and sweet female voice sounded. Respect your ass. Don't you like to threaten me and bombard me with heavenly lightning? Go ahead and bombard me. I'm going to die anyway. Give me a quick death. Idiot. Lin Xian. F***ck. This system actually called him an idiot. Who could stand this? Sigh. I wonder what little fairy will do if she knows about my death. Lin Xian sighed. He really couldn't bear to do it. And he was also afraid that Lin Yu would be sad. But if he was given another chance, he would still make the same choice without knowing the outcome. Many strong people were really born in extreme environments. But if they didn't do it well, they might die. He realized that he seemed to be the latter. He was going to die. And Linging, F***ck. He hadn't had enough sex with this girl. And he was going to die. There were still a few girls he hadn't had sex with. Just thinking about it was tiring. I wonder if I can return to Earth after dying. Lin Xian was already thinking about this. Idiot. Lin Xian. F***ck. You. Once is enough for you to scold me twice? F***ck Lin Yang. Lin Xian couldn't help but roar. According to the system's detection, the host can use the power of the rainbow sacred scale to forcefully absorb it. That voice came over. Rainbow sacred scale? Lin Xian suddenly remembered. Wasn't this the rainbow sacred scale that gave him all attributes? He thought of absorbing it himself. But he seemed to have forgotten that the people here relied on the system to cultivate. But I've used the system to choose to absorb it, but it said that I'm not qualified. Lin Xian said, Host, please choose the rainbow sacred scale. Using the scumbag system to borrow the power of the rainbow sacred scale to assist in absorbing the space energy here? I haven't tried it before, but I can give it a try. Lin Xian then closed his eyes. But if you don't absorb it completely, you still can't leave. And if your body can't withstand it, you will explode and die. Lin Xian nodded slightly. Ding. Do you choose to absorb the space energy? Lin Xian opened his eyes, and they shone brightly. It's really possible. Normally, the system wouldn't be able to absorb it, but it could be done through the rainbow sacred scale. Under normal circumstances, only Lin Xian could do it. Because one must have the rainbow sacred scale, otherwise it would be useless. But he had it. His life wasn't meant to end. Lin Xian wanted to cry. His life really wasn't meant to end. Absorb. Lin Xian then chose to absorb it without hesitation. Immediately after, He felt the dense space energy condensing into his body. Space compression. Lin Xian felt the pressure. Space explosion. Space tear. At this moment in a fragrant room, the woman changed into pajamas and was about to take a bath with a towel. Then, she saw the strange state of the illusory sky crystal at the side. Not dead yet. The woman glanced at it and didn't think much before walking into the bathroom. As time passed, Lin Xian felt extremely uncomfortable. It was as if he couldn't hold on any longer, but he still kept eating and drinking. His body couldn't take it anymore. Chapter 188. According to the system, he could only leave this place after absorbing all the spatial energy. Wouldn't absorbing all the energy here be the same as absorbing all the energy in that huge illusory sky crystal? Could he really absorb all of it? Lin Xian felt that he couldn't. If he didn't absorb all of it, he wouldn't be able to leave. Otherwise, his body wouldn't be able to take it, and he would explode. But thinking about it, wouldn't it feel good to explode and die? People would die in an instant and wouldn't feel any pain. Why am I starting to think about how to die a quick death? Die my ass. I can't die. Lin Xian's eyes narrowed, and he clenched his fists tightly. Ugh! Lin Xian roared and absorbed the power of space with all his might. Time passed by slowly. I can't take it anymore. I really can't take it anymore. I'm going to explode. System lady, can you help me check how much spatial energy I have left? Checking, please wait a moment. Ding, remaining spatial energy 61%. Lin Xian. Die. He was about to explode, and he hadn't even absorbed half of it. Wouldn't he die? Even the rainbow sacred scales weren't enough. Ding, space attribute has accumulated 90%. Lin Xian. At this moment the system's voice sounded again. This didn't mean that Lin Xian was only left with 10%. It meant that, if he absorbed another 10%, he would activate the space attribute. Lin Xian was filled with fighting spirit again. Ugh. Ding, space attribute has accumulated 91%. 92%. 93%. Ding, energy has accumulated 98%. Bung. Lin Xian even seemed to hear a cracking sound. Then, he took a look and saw that the blood vessels in his arms seemed to have burst. His body was cracking. Lin Xian couldn't give up. There was only this last 2% left. In an instant, Lin Xian was covered in blood. Ding, energy accumulation is complete. Space attribute is permanently activated. Ding, your vitality plus 30. When Lin Xian heard this sound, all the energy in his body was drained, and he stopped absorbing. As he fell, he panted heavily. If it wasn't for his strong willpower, he probably wouldn't have been able to hold on until here. Or he might have fainted already. It was probably because his physique had experienced a huge injury, which was equivalent to body tempering. Therefore, his physique was now able to withstand more damage. 30 points of vitality wasn't a small amount. After a few minutes, Lin Xian finally regained some strength and slowly raised his right hand. Spatial blast. Lin Xian. What the hell? Was this the space blast? Lin Xian looked at the area in front of him. It was a very, very small area, perhaps the size of a person. There was indeed a spatial explosion inside, but it was like a 50-cent box of exploding whips. He felt that it could at most blow up ordinary people. The kind that wouldn't die from the explosion. Space jump. It moved. It was a 2-meter space jump. Lin Xian. What the hell? This was the spatial attribute. What the hell? Lin Xian's body was in so much pain that he felt like he was about to lose all his blood. However, it couldn't compare to the desolation he felt in his heart. Shouldn't it be very awesome? Why was it so lousy? System Missy, help me check if the spatial attribute I've awakened is fake. Lin Xian asked in surprise. Checking, please wait. Checking complete. The host's spatial attribute awaken range is 1/3000. Lin Xian. No wonder. In other words, Lin Xian could only release January 3000 of the spatial energy he could release as an arcane body 6 stars cultivator. No wonder it was so weak. How do I improve it? Cultivate, familiarize, grasp, and comprehend. Lin Xian. Space and time were indeed the two most difficult attributes. As for the other attributes, you were born with them, so you basically knew how to use them. For example, lightning could be released as soon as you obtained it. Of course, you also needed to familiarize yourself with it. However, space was more difficult. In other words, he had to slowly improve it. Then, the system Missy's voice sounded. Or you can also improve your comprehension of space by absorbing large amounts of spatial energy. Absorb. Right. Isn't this place full of spatial attributes? My body has just reached its limit, but since I've unlocked the spatial attribute, it's as good as empty again. Lin Xian felt extremely comfortable now. After recovering from the feeling of being on the verge of exploding, he felt extremely good. Then Lin Xian began to absorb the spatial attribute again. After unlocking the spatial attribute, Lin Xian seemed to be able to absorb even more. After absorbing 90% of the spatial energy, he didn't feel too uncomfortable anymore. This time, he was absorbing so that he could grasp more spatial energy and leave this place. Fortunately, he could unlock the spatial attribute. Otherwise, he would definitely die here. There's still the last 1%. This last 1%, Lin Xian would no longer descend. Instead, he stood above the void that he could see, because there was no more space. I should be able to leave this place after absorbing the spatial energy. The key is that I don't know what's going on outside. Lin Xian remembered that he came here because of that extremely powerful woman. The illusory sky crystal was definitely in her hands. If he met her again, he would still die. But he had spatial energy now. After absorbing so much, he only controlled 1%. From the previous January 30/100th to 1/100th, it was actually a huge increase. But the effect of 1%, Lin Xian used all the spiritual energy in his body to complete a spatial jump. 100 meters. About 100 meters, using all the spiritual energy in his body. It was too difficult. This spatial energy was indeed powerful. But if he wanted to maximize its effect, his control over it must be very high. He estimated that the first time he used it, 40 people 1,000 meters, and a 1-star arcane body realm, he should be able to achieve more than 50% of the effect, right? But as long as he was given time, he would be able to improve it. After recovering his spiritual energy on the spot, Lin Xian used his only wood attribute energy to heal his injuries. After thinking for a while, he also used his only water attribute energy to bathe himself. That was too extravagant. Because to be honest, the water attribute energy might not be too effective. Lin Xian might not need it in the future, so it was fine to waste it. Otherwise, with his clothes soaked in blood, if he walked in the demonic beast territory, how many demonic beasts would be attracted by the smell of blood? Even if he escaped from the demonist's claws, he would probably be killed by the demonic beasts. Who? Then, Lin Xian took a deep breath and absorbed the last 1%. At this moment in the room outside, the beautiful woman had just finished bathing. She was wearing pajamas and drying her hair as she walked out. At first, she didn't notice it, but suddenly, her beautiful eyes looked at the illusory sky crystal in the corner. Why did the illusory sky crystal lose its luster? Its power was gone. Plop. A figure flew out and rolled a few times on the ground. F***CK. It hurts. Woman. Chapter 189. Lin Xian rubbed his head and sucked in a breath of cold air. What the F***CK? It was as if he had been shot by a cannonball. He flew out head first and was about to be knocked silly. Then he shook his head and opened his eyes. F***CK. Lin Xian and the woman stared at each other. The woman froze in the middle of drying her hair. She was clearly stunned as well. Gulp. The surroundings were terrifyingly quiet. Even the sound of Lin Xian swallowing his saliva could be heard. That was the girl. Previously, Lin Xian couldn't see clearly because of the veil. But now, especially for a noble and cold girl like her, wearing pajamas with wet hair, she was even more mesmerizing. More importantly, her appearance, Ling Ying and Lin Ye were already heaven-defying beauties. But she was so beautiful that Lin Xian couldn't breathe. It was as if this wasn't an appearance that a human could have. To be honest, She wasn't much better than Ling Ying and the rest. Beauties all had their own characteristics and merits, especially great beauties. Actually, it was hard to tell who was prettier, but Lin Xian felt that she was indescribably beautiful. Maybe it was because of her noble aura. Or maybe only a demon could transform into such beauty. In the next second, without hesitation, Lin Xian released the space attribute. His figure appeared 100 meters away and sped away. What the F***ck? I've hit the nail on the head. Lecture. The girl's face was sullen. Her right hand grabbed at the air. And then, Lin Xian fell from the sky and landed on the floor of her room. Lin Xian. Who could withstand this? He couldn't run at all, okay? He was being toyed with like a cat catching a mouse. Die. Don't. Kill me and dirty your room. Lin Xian looked at the energy she was gathering and hurriedly said, Am I going to die? Sigh, I really can't accept this. I'm still going to die in the end. However, as someone who had already died once, Lin Xian was able to accept the fact that he was still alive. Death wasn't frightening. What was frightening was the fetters in one's heart. What about Linya? What about Ling Ying? The woman glanced at the illusory sky heavenly crystal that no longer had any spiritual energy left. He had actually completely absorbed the spatial energy of the illusory spatial heavenly crystal. What he released just now was also the power of space. She was very sure, because what she controlled was space. In terms of spatial power, she didn't lose to anyone on planet Aqua Blue, because this was her, the Void Fox. The strongest spatial heavenly beast, the pinnacle of bloodline, pinnacle of strength, pinnacle of spatial purity. The Void Fox was a top-notch demonic beast bloodline. Furthermore, it was a top-notch demonic beast. They were existences at the level of dragons, phoenixes, and Qilins. In a sense, he was even stronger. Because what she controlled was space, she would definitely be able to suppress her opponent at the same cultivation level. There were only 2 Void Foxes on the entire continent, her and her younger sister. Therefore, it was only right for her to be respected. When the woman heard Lin Xian's words, she paused for a moment, wondering if killing him would dirty her room. How did you absorb such a huge amount of energy from the illusory sky heavenly crystal? She asked, but her tone was filled with unquestionable arrogance. I absorbed it just like that. Lin Xian was stalling for time. He was looking for a way to escape. However, there were no more chances left for the lottery wheel. He had used it 5 times after midnight. Spatial energy was useless, so he seemed to be about to die. F***ck. It wasn't easy for him to escape and awaken the spatial attribute. He originally thought that the peak of his life was just around the corner, but his luck was really too bad. He really bumped into her. Lin Xian said with a long face, Big sister, I'm just a hooligan with low strength. Can you just pretend that you didn't see me and let me go? No. You must die. Why? Although humans and demonic beasts can't coexist, there are also examples of coexistence. For the time being, we don't need to coexist. We just need to let him live. Sob. Of course, Lin Xian knew that there were very few chances. So when he was talking, his system was scanning for the obedient spray that he had drawn earlier. Obedient spray. Grade, unable to determine. One-time use item. Ignores level and realm. Spray a unit, making it obey the user's orders. Takes effect immediately. Duration and effect vary from person to person. Unable to determine. Lin Xian. This was the obedient spray. It didn't have any attack power, but it surprised Lin Xian. This was even a spirit artifact that ignored level. In other words, even if the other party was at the heavenly venerable realm, they would have to obey this spray. The full name of this obedient spray was Obedient Spray Powder. He didn't understand what the powder in the back meant. Were there many other types? But didn't this mean that he survived? Lin Xian was about to faint. If he had known, he would have checked the effects of the obedient spray. It wouldn't have ended up like this. The items in this lottery wheel were really heaven-defying. Lin Xian was convinced. However, if there was something that could save his life, he had to hit it with one hit. Otherwise, he would still die. Since you don't want to talk, then die. After saying that, the woman stretched out her hand slightly toward Lin Xian. Lin Xian suddenly pointed behind her. Look, a flying saucer. The woman really did look behind her. It was probably because Lin Xian was too weak, so she wasn't worried that Lin Xian would hurt her. That was why she was so relaxed. Sizzle! Lin Xian appeared in front of her in an instant. He took out the obedience spray and sprayed it at her twice. Ha ha! Then, Lin Xian put his hands on his waist and laughed. Aren't you arrogant? Aren't you high and mighty? You still have to be obedient. Ha ha ha. Awesome. The obedient spray was immediately effective. The woman's condition instantly became abnormal. Her pretty face was flushed red. For such a woman to blush, it was really mesmerizing. Her delicate body staggered, and then she leaned against the wall. She struggled to shake her head, but something didn't seem right. She tried to release her power to kill Lin Xian, but she couldn't condense it. At that moment she panicked. Moreover, her mind was being invaded. Lin Xian originally didn't dare to be so arrogant. However, the obedient spray was effective immediately. That was why he dared to be so arrogant. However, he wasn't sure how long it would last, so Lin Xian didn't dare to continue being arrogant. As long as she sent him back to Tianhua City, wouldn't he be safe? Lin Xian didn't want to do the mission anymore. What if she woke up in a few seconds, 10 seconds, or a few minutes? The duration and effects varied from person to person. Lin Xian didn't dare to take the risk. It was enough that he could survive. If he failed the mission, then his level would be lowered. Send me back to Tianhua City. Lin Xian looked at her and hurriedly said. Then she didn't react. She even let out a groan. Lin Xian. At this moment, Lin Xian realized that something was wrong with her. Her beautiful eyes were blurred, and her skin was flushed. How was this obedient? This was clearly aroused. Chapter 190. Lin Xian looked at the obedient spray's description again. That's right. Didn't she say she was obedient? However, he had ordered her to do so. She didn't give him any response. She just kept tugging at her clothes. Hey, send me back to Tianhua City, Lin Xian said again. Then he saw her raise her head. In an instant, she appeared in front of Lin Xian and hugged Lin Xian. Her red lips kissed him. Lin Xian. Ding. Raped by big sister. Unworthy of being a scumbag. Scumbag value, 100000. What the hell? Being forced to kiss based on strength means he's unworthy of being a scumbag? This obedient spray. It can't be that the powder means that, right? Can't you be more accurate with your description? What a scam. No. Although Lin Xian felt that it was a huge profit to be able to get on such a high-quality item, that wasn't his goal. He wanted to run. If he slept with her, he would feel good for a while, and then he would still die. Although dying under a peony flower was also a romantic thing, this woman was indeed breathtakingly beautiful. She was even incomparably noble. Even her appearance was noble. That was the aura she revealed. But Lin Xian only wanted to live. Scram. Don't bother me. Lin Xian then pushed her away. Since she wasn't obedient, he could only run. If he didn't run now, he wouldn't be able to run when she woke up. Then, Lin Xian pushed open the door and was about to rush out. His spiritual energy was empty. Using instant shadow was already drained, so Lin Xian could only run. Whoosh! However, the woman was much faster than Lin Xian. She directly pulled him over, and then wrapped around Lin Xian like an octopus. Lin Xian. It's over. His mentality exploded. Don't go. It's so uncomfortable, the woman said in her sleep. Scram. Lin Xian pushed her away again, and was pulled over again. The disparity in strength was too great. She didn't even use her spiritual power. She was able to crush Lin Xian with pure strength. Oh my god. Lin Xian had tried 4 times, and she had brought him back. It's over. Who the F***CK could withstand this? Although it was beautiful, it was a rose with thorns, the kind that could kill. Pa. Lin Xian then slapped her across the face. The crisp sound of a slap could be heard. Ding. Slapping a big sister in the face is an act of a scumbag. It is extremely vile. Scumbag value plus 1 million. After slapping Lin Xian, he regretted it. What if she woke up from her slapping? He still had to die. But fortunately, She did not wake up. Hot. An incomparably noble woman let out such an aggrieved and coquettish voice. No one could stand it. But Lin Xian held back. He still wanted to run, but he couldn't break free. Her cultivation level was too high. She just needed to use a bit of strength, and Lin Xian couldn't move. Rip. Lin Xian's clothes were torn apart by her. Lin Xian. He was pushed down by a woman. The key point was that he was unwilling. Damn Lin Yang. F***ck. I can't run, I'm going to die either way. This young master has done this before I die, so it's not a loss. Ding. Successfully possessed a big sister. Identified as Super SSS. Scumbag value plus 100,000. Identified as the first time. Scumbag value plus 1 million. Ding. The disparity in status and cultivation level is too large. Host is determined to be a gigolo. Scumbag value plus 1 million. Ding. Doing it with another girl while having a girlfriend is considered a scumbag. Scumbag value plus 100,000. Ding. Collected big sisters too. Ding. Successfully completed the mission, teasing big sister. Mission reward. Space speed increased by 10%. Ding. You have triggered the mission. Successfully confessed to a big sister. Mission reward. Space attribute large success and increased to void. Mission time limit. 3 months. Mission punishment. Level reset to 0. Lin Xian. His movements suddenly stopped. More than 20 million scumbag value was directly transferred to his account. Moreover, the previous mission did not even require him to tease the big sister. It was directly completed. But what made him unhappy was gigolo. Your whole family is gigolos. And what made Lin Xian's mind explode was that he even triggered a mission. He still had to confess to her. How could he succeed? This mission was bound to fail. And he only had 3 months. If he didn't complete it, his level would be reset to 0, and he would explode. Wait, let's talk about it after I survive this time. Don't stop. She hugged Lin Xian. Lin Xian. Lin Xian woke up because his phone rang. He subconsciously picked it up and looked at it. Hey little Ying. Bastard. Where are you? Ling Ying cursed. Lin Xian suddenly woke up. Damn. I'll go back now. Hearing Lin Xian's voice, Ling Ying heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, he was fine. I'm at Linfeng City. The teleportation portal here has been set up. Hurry over. It's at the side of Chang'an County. Hurry. Ling Ying was angered to death by Lin Xian. She really did not know how dangerous it was. She was really worried to death. Okay. I'm coming. Lin Xian then put on his pants and was about to escape. As for his clothes, they were torn by her. Just as Lin Xian was about to run, he felt a powerful aura. It's over. Lin Xian turned his head to look at the figure. Her face was full of shame and anger. Of course, there was even more anger. Shameless lecher. I'm going to tear you into pieces. Damn. She was the one who initiated it, okay? Now she was unhappy again. Damn. Wait. You initiated it. Are you blaming me again? She thought about it carefully. Her memory was fragmented, but she could roughly remember something. It was actually really her. No. It was because Lin Xian did something. She did it unconsciously. It was all because of him. Lin Xian felt that the aura was increasing instead of decreasing. He could only use his trump card. This was the method he had just thought of. Whether she lived or died depended on the heavens. Wait a minute. Look at what this is. Lin Xian waved his phone and said, I believe you know that this is a phone invented by us humans. It has a camera function. I took a picture of everything you did and sent it to a female friend of mine. If you dare to kill me, you can imagine the consequences, right? Of course he did not take a picture. How could he have the time? He had just thought of it. It was the only way. If I die, if I don't make it back alive, she will post your picture online. When that happens, all the humans on planet Aqua Blue will see it. And maybe you demons will see it too. You, shameless lecher. She pointed at Lin Xian, trembling slightly. She was angry, but she believed him. Before this, she had been sleeping. She really did not know what Lin Xian was doing. So, I'm going back now. Kill me or let me go. It's up to you. With that, Lin Xian pushed open the door and walked out. After he went out, Lin Xian was dumbfounded. Where was this? Damn. Then he came back. Send me to Chang'an County. Hurry. Chapter 191. Shi Linglong Shui swore that she really wanted to kill him. But if what he said was true, then the world would see her. No. Absolutely not. She compromised. At least now she was in a mess, very messy. If you dare to reveal this when you go back, I will slaughter the entire human race. Linglong Shui glared at Lin Xian and threatened. Fine. I promise you. Hurry up. With a wave of her hand, Lin Xian vanished on the spot. After Lin Xian left, she stood there in a daze. With a flash of light, Lin Xian appeared next to Chang'an County. It wasn't far from where they parked the chariot. Most of the people here had already left, but there were a few who stayed. Lin Xian. When the two girls saw Lin Xian, they immediately ran over. You guys. Lin Xian froze when he saw Ling Ying and Miao Xiao Miao. Lin Xian knew that Ling Ying was here, but Miao Xiao Miao was here too. Lin Xian, you bastard. Miao Xiao Miao threw a stone at Lin Xian, but Lin Xian nimbly dodged it. Where are your clothes? Ling Ying walked over to Lin Xian and asked. They were burned during the battle. No big deal. Miao Xiao Miao pouted and said. Where did you go? I went to save people with Commander Qin Feng. Stop pretending. Commander Qin Feng already went back, but you still haven't come back. He came back just for you. Lin Xian saw a figure walking over. It was Qin Feng. It's very dangerous. Ling Ying looked at Lin Xian and continued. If there's anything in the future, can't we go together? Lin Xian smiled and nodded. All right. He didn't let Miao Xiao Miao and Ling Ying follow, because he was afraid that they would be in danger. If he implicated them, he wouldn't be able to rest in peace even if he died. The two girls were also very smart. If Lin Xian continued to hide it, it meant that he didn't want to talk about it. Since he didn't want to talk about it, they didn't ask anymore. But no matter what, it was fine as long as he was fine. Qin Feng walked over and saluted Lin Xian. This really made Lin Xian feel flattered, because this Qin Feng should be a domain realm expert. Lin Xian, let's not talk about other things for now. But there's one thing I want to thank you on behalf of everyone. If it weren't for you and the two ladies, we might not have survived our losses. Now that half of us have survived, it's already a blessing in disguise. Lin Xian shook his head and said, That's what I should do. This is part of being human. It's also my responsibility. It was obvious that Qin Feng's mood was not very good. He originally thought that this would be a devastating blow to the demonic beasts. But he didn't expect that they would fall into a trap and suffer such heavy losses. More than 20,000 people died. This was simply too exaggerated. This time, the plan of the Chinese country was directly announced to have ended. Everyone else had returned, and only the four of them were left here. I just don't know why we failed. The demonic beasts actually set a trap early on. Qin Feng sighed again. But other than that, what else could he do? There was no turning back. Lin Xian glanced at Miao Xiao Miao and Ling Ying. He knew that they hadn't told Qin Feng about Wang Jichao's matter. They were probably waiting for Lin Xian to make a decision. Lin Xian then said, Chief Commander Qin. Qin Feng waved his hand and said helplessly, Don't call me that. I'm the one who caused everyone to be in this state. I'm no longer qualified to be the chief commander. I'm about 20 years older than you guys, so just call me Uncle Qin. Lin Xian nodded and said, This time it's not your fault. Uncle Qin, you're just executing the policy of the Chinese country. That's also because I didn't investigate thoroughly. No, it's because a human traitor leaked information about our entire operation to the demonic beasts. So the demonic beasts set a trap early on. Lin Xian said, A human traitor? That's impossible. Even if there was, it should be the higher-ups of the three major forces. Qin Feng suddenly realized something, and stared at Lin Xian in shock. Lin Xian nodded and said, That's right. There's a traitor among the higher-ups of the three major forces. Lin Xian then nodded to Miao Xiao Miao, who then passed the phone to Qin Feng. Qin Feng looked at the phone's recording, and his killing intent surged. The trial union Wang Jichao. Bastard. Qin Feng clenched his fists tightly, his eyes bloodshot. If it was their mistake that led to this failure, perhaps he would feel better. But if it was his own people who leaked information about their operation, then he would feel even angrier, and even worse. This evidence should be enough, right? Lin Xian said. Qin Feng took a deep breath, and tried his best to calm his anger. I never thought that the final mistake would be our own fault. We've let down all the warriors who died. No, it's him. Qin Feng then patted Lin Xian's shoulder and said, Don't worry about this. He'll definitely pay the price. His death isn't worth regretting. We'll definitely make him suffer a fate worse than death. But there's one more thing, and that's about you. Me? Lin Xian pointed at himself in surprise. Qin Feng nodded. That's right. This time, because of your operation, we saved the remaining 30,000 people, and even left some soldiers for the 3 major forces. Otherwise, the beasts would have attacked us and Tianhua City would have fallen. Your contribution is so great that I'll ask the higher-ups for your reward. Lin Xian smiled and shook his head. Forget it. I don't like to show my face in the public. This isn't showing your face in the public. You saved over 10,000 people. This is a great contribution. The Chinese government will definitely give you a title of unparalleled honor. It wasn't that Lin Xian didn't care, but he was still used to his normal life. It was great to interact with girls. Lin Xian felt that it would be very troublesome if the country paid attention to him. Forget it, I won't ask for the reward. Or maybe I'll mention it to Uncle Qin when I want it in the future. Qin Feng was extremely surprised, as expected of a young man who could stand out on the battlefield. He was indeed extraordinary. All right, since this is your decision, I'll respect it. However, I hope to invite you to join the Divine Palace. I'll give you a high position so that it'll be easier for you to do things in the future, Qin Feng said. How about you give me this position, but I won't join the Divine Palace. Is that okay? This position was quite useful. The higher the position, the more people would be intimidated. Sometimes, he could even get in through the back door. This was a comfortable position, but the prerequisite was that he didn't belong to the Divine Palace. Okay, then I'll give you the position of Deputy Commander of Tianhua City's Border Defense Team. You can use this position to do things outside. Of course, you can't do anything bad. Internally, you don't have to do anything. You're completely free and can resign at any time. How about it? Lin Xian nodded slightly. Although he still belonged to the Divine Palace, in a sense he didn't belong to them anymore. This was a power that Qin Feng had given him privately. Chapter 192. Seeing Lin Xian nod, Qin Feng felt a little better. Lin Xian had done such a terrible thing. If he did not want anything, he would feel guilty. You're a student of the Sky Martial Court, right? I'll send someone to pass you your identification. Thank you. Let's go back. I have to get rid of that bastard Wang Jichao as soon as possible. It'll be troublesome if he notices something and escapes. Then the 4 of them stepped into the teleportation formation. I'll go home first. My sister must be worried. Lin Xian said to the 2 girls, his upper body bare. You know that too. Ling Ying rolled his eyes at Lin Xian. Fortunately, nothing happened. However, he really was a troublemaker. Anyway, she had to be careful. She could not be separated from Lin Xian in the future. Who knew what he would do? Okay. I apologize. Miao Xiaomiao put her hands on her waist and said, You shouldn't apologize to us. You're being irresponsible to yourself and your sister. What if something happens to you? Okay, there won't be a next time. It's getting late. The sun is about to rise. Let's go back and rest. I'm going home too. All right. Give me the phone and the note, Lin Xian said to Ling Ying. Lin Xian handed the phone to Lin Xian and said, I live alone in Tianhua City. I'm very free. Why don't I send it over now? Lin Xian shook his head. Let's wait until morning. This matter hasn't spread yet. Let his sister have a good night's sleep. I'll tell her the bad news tomorrow. That's the only way. I'll go tomorrow. Are you sure you can do it? Lin Xian smiled and nodded. It's just sending something over. I'm just an errand boy. I don't have to do anything. Why can't I do it? That's true. We'll go back then. The three of them then separated. When Lin Xian returned home, Linya was asleep. He thought she was asleep, but maybe she was still awake. Anyway, not long after he opened the door, Linya came out of the room. Where's your jacket? Linya stared blankly at Lin Xian for a moment, before hurriedly finding a set of clothes for him to wear. It was 4 o'clock in the morning, but it was still dark outside. Although they had returned, the news had not really spread yet. The news would spread tomorrow morning. So Linya did not know what danger Lin Xian and the others had gone through. It was just that Lin Xian hadn't sent a message to Linya for a long time. So Linya was worried. However, after hearing from Ling Ying that Lin Xian was fine, she was temporarily relieved. It's normal to tear your clothes in battle, Lin Xian said with a smile. Hungry? Yes. Go take a shower. I'll cook a bowl of noodles for you. Then Linya walked into the kitchen. Lin Xian revealed a blissful smile. Linya was not stupid. She had heard that the operation would end at noon. But it was only 4 o'clock in the morning. An hour or two earlier might be normal, but 7 or 8 hours earlier was definitely not normal. Therefore, she knew that something must have happened. However, as long as Lin Xian was fine, then all was well. Linya let out a long sigh of relief. Lin Xian came out of the shower feeling refreshed. His body's injuries were mostly healed by the wood element. When he came out, he smelled a delicious aroma. To be honest, he was starving to death. Miss Xiao. Lin Xian looked at Xiao Runing in surprise. He suddenly remembered that he had asked Xiao Runing to accompany Linya to sleep. I'm hungry too. Let's eat something. Xiao Runing said. Then Lin Xian walked over and started eating. Linya propped her chin up and looked at him. Why are you looking at me? Am I too handsome? Lin Xian teased, making Linya blush. No. Linya thought for a moment, then asked. Did the mission fail? Lin Xian paused, then nodded. Yes, it failed. Did you lose a lot? Xiao Runing looked at Lin Xian and asked. She was smart, so she naturally knew what was going on. Lin Xian did not need to hide this matter from Linya and the others. Because later on, everyone would know about the heavy losses this time. Although it would cause panic, there was no other way. When fighting with demonic beasts, such preparations were needed. However, the compensation that China was going to give out this time would probably be a huge sum. But compared to human lives, the compensation was really nothing. Lin Xian nodded. Yes, more than 20,000 people. Xiao Runing paused in the middle of eating, revealing a shocked expression. A total of 50,000 people went, and 20,000 died? What exactly did you encounter? Xiao Runing said in disbelief. How is this possible? Lin Xian said helplessly. The demonic beast's trap. They already knew about our movements, and prepared an ambush in advance. What? How is that possible? Because a human betrayed the clan and leaked information to the demonic beasts. Xiao Runing frowned. Bang! She subconsciously slammed the table. Beast. This was even more hateful than becoming a martial artist of the evil fiend temple. As long as one was a normal person, they would definitely hate it. Because of one person, 20,000 people died. If this was not a beast, then what was? Although Linya didn't really understand, she roughly understood the meaning. Let's not talk about it anymore. The people should have been caught. The three big powers won't just stand by and watch. As for the people who died, AI, this is also something that can't be helped. It's hard to go against fate. Lin Xian sighed and continued eating. Xiao Runing thought for a while and asked, Then is Tianhua City in danger? Lin Xian downed a bowl of soup. Linya took the bowl and scooped some noodles for him. Then Lin Xian looked at Xiao Runing and said, If something happened to the three big powers this time, then Tianhua City should have fallen. But for now it should be fine. The demonic beasts also need time. Even if the demonic beasts attack the city, they should be able to hold on until reinforcements come from other places. No matter how much I thought about it, I didn't think that it would be our own people. Xiao Runing said helplessly. There was really no other way. This was human nature. There was really no guarantee that everyone was a good person. You should have a good rest tomorrow. I reckon that Tianhua City will be quite chaotic for the time being. After all, so many people have died. Although it's not just Tianhua City, there must be a lot of people in Tianhua City. I don't know how many students from the Sky Martial Court went there, and how many people have died. Xiao Runing sighed. But, wasn't this how the world was now? Miss Xiao, I want to ask, what cultivation level must one reach to be able to cause destruction from 1,000 meters away with the raise of one's hand? Lin Xian asked curiously. Raise of one's hand? Lin Xian nodded and then made a gesture. He flicked his finger and said, yes, just a casual flick of your finger. Do you want to reach the heavenly venerable stage? Xiao Runing. No. Virtuous stage. Lin Xian. What's going on? A virtuous stage demon venerable? That's impossible. If it's you, how could you come back alive? Chapter 193. The Great Virtual Realm was already the second to last realm. It might not even exist in this world. He really didn't know if there was an existence of this level. Are you sure? Lin Xian asked. Xiao Runing shook her head. I'm not sure. There are many factors. But if it's really as you said, the heavenly venerable realm might not be enough. Of course, I'm only making an inference based on the records. If that woman was in the Great Virtual Realm, then Lin Xian was dumbfounded. But even if she wasn't in the Great Virtual Realm, if she was in the heavenly venerable realm, Lin Xian was also dumbfounded. He had slept with a woman of that level. Oh my god. Hey, what are you thinking about? Xiao Runing waved her hand at Lin Xian. Lin Xian came back to his senses and shook his head. He took the second bowl of noodles that Linya had served him and said, I'm just asking. It's nothing. That's true. If you really met her, you would all be dead. Moreover, demon venerables of that level should be in the 10,000 Demon Alliance. It's impossible for them to appear here. 10,000 Demon Alliance. Miss Xiao, tell me about the 10,000 Demon Alliance. Lin Xian was really curious now. There's nothing to say. I don't know much. The 10,000 Demon Alliance is a force of the demon clan. They are all demon kings and demon venerables who have transformed. They are also the ones who organized the siege. Does the heavenly venerable realm, or even the great virtual realm exist? Xiao Runing thought for a moment and said, they should exist. Although I've never seen or heard of them, since there is such a realm, then there must be such a powerhouse. So I'm very curious about one thing. For the 10,000 Demon Alliance, they can casually send out a heavenly venerable realm powerhouse to easily take down Tianhua City, and even the other cities. Why do they have to go through so much trouble? Linya propped up her chin and listened to their conversation curiously. I've heard the elders in my family mention this before. Fey beasts have experts, so do we humans. Many years ago, this was a rule set by the various human and Fey experts. The Great Void Realm and Heavenly Dao Realm experts are not to participate in any racial wars because they are too strong. As for whether the Heavenly Venerables are included, I'm not sure. Why did they all agree to this rule? Logically speaking, the demonic beasts are in the limelight right now. They shouldn't have agreed to it. It's very simple. That level is too strong, and only those of that level can fight against it. However, it's too difficult to kill an opponent of that level. If the mystical beasts can make those of that level come and attack the city, it'll naturally be very easy. However, this affects the balance. Humans of that level can also go out and kill the mystical beasts as they please. With just a raise of their head, tens of millions of lives will be lost. This will lead to a situation where the strong will hunt each other's tribes. Perhaps after many years, only those of that level will be left on planet Water Blue, while the weaker life forms will all be dead. It's the same for humans and demonic beasts. Xiao Runing explained. I understand. That's why such a rule is needed. Otherwise, the world will be in chaos. It'll be even more chaotic than it is now. Xiao Runing nodded. Although we can defend against those demonic beasts of that level, the battlefield will still be at the edge of the city, and the destruction will still be great. Secondly, as long as they sneak into the vicinity of the city, they can kill hundreds of thousands, or even millions of people in a short period of time. Our experts won't be able to defend in time. Conversely, it's the same for the mystical beasts. They won't be able to make it in time if we ambush them. So there are indeed experts of that level. Of course there are. As for how strong they are, or how many experts there are in the myriad demon alliance, we don't know. However, since the mystical beasts have also agreed to this matter, it means that they are also wary of us human experts. Therefore, the number of experts on both sides should be about the same. Xiao Runing said. That was strange. The mystical beasts had actually mobilized heavenly venerables. That woman was at least at the heavenly venerables realm. Domain realm cultivators shouldn't be that strong. Lin Xian thought that she had also made a move. After all, if she wanted to kill him, even if he was alone, she would have broken the rule. However, what if she was not a heavenly venerable? If she was not a heavenly venerable, it meant that she was qualified to make a move. She was only a heavenly venerable. Thank you, Miss Xiao. I have a rough idea. You guys should go to bed. All right. You should rest early too. Don't go to the Sky Martial Court tomorrow. Lin Xian nodded. He still had to deliver something tomorrow. It did not matter whether he went to the Sky Martial Court or not. Then, they returned to their respective rooms. I wonder if Qin Xiaotian is dead or not. Lin Xian lay on his bed, thinking about something. If Qin Xiaotian was dead, Lin Xian would be upset. This was because Qin Xiaotian had to be killed by Lin Xian himself. Moreover, if he died, Lin Ye's frost physique would be gone as well. Lin Xian was even wondering if Qin Xiaotian was still alive. Oh right. What does that reward mean? Lin Xian thought about the mission reward after he had sex with that woman. It was a 10% increase in his space attribute. A 10% increase. Does that mean I can directly control 10% of my space attribute? I should have been able to control about 1% before. Teleporting myself and releasing all my spiritual power is 100 meters. Let me try it now. Then Lin Xian released 10% of his spiritual power and performed a space jump. About 100 meters. Lin Xian was pleasantly surprised. As expected. This was his ability to control space attribute. In other words, he should be able to control about 10% of his space attribute. This was already very exaggerated. It would definitely increase Lin Xian's combat strength by a lot. However, there was a problem. It consumed too much spiritual power. If his opponent was at the same level or below, it would be fine. However, if his opponent was slightly more powerful than him, just releasing the space attribute would exhaust his spiritual power. However, as his control improved, the effect of releasing the space attribute at the same level would become stronger. Therefore, if he wanted to consume less spiritual power, Lin Xian had to master it even more. If I successfully confess to that woman, the mission reward is 100% mastery of the space attribute. I'm afraid no one in this world can control it 100%. To be honest, it's very attractive. If I just practice, I might not be able to do it even after several decades. But Lin Xian had a headache just thinking about that woman. It felt good, but she was too powerful. It would be fine if she didn't kill him. Don't say that she agreed to be Lin Xian's woman. This was something that was impossible to achieve. Not even the slightest possibility. However, the most unbearable thing was that if he didn't get her, he would be punished by the mission, and his level would be reset to 0. He couldn't take it. 3 months to conquer a noble and cold woman. Moreover, she was at the heavenly venerable realm. She was even close to the virtuality realm. With just him Lin Xian? What was he Lin Xian? Arcane body realm. Compared to her, he was just a stinky little brother. Chapter 194. After a few hours of sleep, Lin Xian woke up at 8 o'clock in the morning. Ling Ye and Xiao Runing were washing up. Morning. Lin Xian greeted them. Morning. Ling Ye and Xiao Runing looked at Lin Xian and were slightly stunned. Why is he dressed? Little Xian, are you going out? Ling Ye asked. Lin Xian nodded. Yes, I have something to do. I might not be back for lunch. I might go to the Sky Martial Court. Little fairy, you don't have to wait for me. I'm going to work, Lin Ye said. Then I'll get going first. Bye, little fairy. Bai Ning. Miss Xiao. Hey, aren't you going to eat breakfast? Xiao Runing shouted. However, Lin Xian had already rushed out. You're in such a hurry. Maybe you're going to meet a girl. Xiao Runing said to Linya with a smile. That's great. Linya didn't know why she felt empty in her heart when she said that. I'll go to the Sky Martial Court as well. After such a big incident, I'm sure many people from the advanced class are there. I wonder how many people are in trouble. I'm afraid the Sky Martial Court won't be peaceful today, Xiao Runing said with a sigh. All right then. I'll make breakfast first. We'll go after breakfast. It's okay. It's getting late. I have to hurry. I'll buy some food on the way. It's not troublesome. Walking out, Tianhua City gave off a sorrowful feeling today. There weren't many pedestrians on the streets. Some people even had tears on their faces as they walked on the streets. They were probably on their way to work or school when they received the bad news that their friends and family had died outside. Sigh, 20,000 people died. No matter what, 7 or 8,000 of them were from Tianhua City. In an instant, 7 or 8,000 people from Tianhua City died. For a short period of time, Tianhua City will indeed be immersed in this situation. However, this is something that can't be helped. I wonder how the three great powers are going to deal with Wang Jichao. Lin Xian sighed as he looked at the address on the slip of paper and hailed a cab. Master, let's go to Liyuan District. This chauffeur seemed to be a cliché. The moment Lin Xian boarded the car, he started chatting with Lin Xian in all sorts of ways. Young man, did you hear about what happened last night? Lin Xian nodded. I've heard. Sigh. I don't know how much longer Tianhua City can last. Young man, has your family considered moving away now? Move away for what? Tianhua City might not fall, Lin Xian said. The driver laughed and said, That's true. After all, we human warriors are not to be trifled with. I'm ashamed to say that I regret not improving myself properly at that time. That's why I ended up like this. Lin Xian said, It's not too late. Even if you can't improve by much, you can still improve yourself. The chauffeur laughed and said, It's different now. I have a family and a child. I don't dare to go out and take risks. Otherwise, it's too easy to end up like those people last night. Sigh. Perhaps this was what many people were thinking now. Everyone has their own fate. But if I were given another chance, even if I might die when I was young, I wouldn't have wasted my life like this. Lin Xian laughed and looked at him. Master, are you implying something? Ha ha ha. The chauffeur laughed heartily. It's nothing. I usually bring a lot of students with me. Every time, I'll talk to them about these things. I just want to tell you young people to work hard. Otherwise, you'll regret it like me in the future. The chauffeur said with a sigh. I think that since you have the heart, you can organize people with the same thoughts as you, and then go to various places to give speeches. It's much better than this. Yes, they would regret it many years later. But they were young and didn't understand. If a group of regretful people were to organize speeches, would it have a certain effect, and make those who wasted their lives full of desire? After all, there were too many warriors who wasted their lives. Those who truly wanted to improve themselves and dared to do so were too few. This was also one of the reasons why humans were weaker than demonic beasts. Lin Xian felt that the chauffeur should also be aware of this reason. He wanted to use his weak ability to attract customers, to awaken the hearts of some people. Ha ha ha, no, I have the heart but not the strength. Just pretend you didn't hear it. But Lin Xian felt that this was a good thing. Perhaps in the future, there would be a group of people who would do such things. To strengthen the people, it couldn't just rely on the country. Perhaps there would be some people who could give a lot of help. It seemed like a simple matter, but it could be of great use. The address on the slip of paper was in Tianhua City. It was even quite close to Tianhua Academy. It wasn't far from where Lin Xian lived. In less than 20 minutes, they arrived at the small district on the slip of paper. The small district wasn't as luxurious as Lin Xian's. It could only be said to be average. In a third-tier city like Tianhua City, a house in such a small district wasn't too expensive. What should I say? Lin Xian hesitantly climbed the stairs to the door of room 401 on the 4th floor. He reached out his hand to knock on the door, but retracted it in the end. Announcing bad news was not something that one person could do alone. When the news was announced, seeing his family break down and cry, as long as one's heart wasn't made of stone, they would be moved. Lin Xian thought of that scene and was at a loss. He even thought about it, and decided to leave it to the people from the three major factions. But in the end, he still decided to do it himself. It was also his duty. Thinking of the person covered in blood last night, Lin Xian took a deep breath and knocked on the door. Knock, knock, knock. Suddenly the sound of running came from inside. It sounded very agitated and hurried. Then the door opened instantly. "Brother!" A young girl inside shouted happily. But when she opened the door, she didn't see her brother. Xintong, Lin Xian. The two of them looked at each other in surprise. Who else could the beautiful girl in front of them be but Wang Xintong? It was actually her. Lin Xian quickly checked the address on the slip of paper and verified it. It really was her. The person who died was her brother. "You, what are you doing here?" Wang Xintong frowned and looked at Lin Xian. "Oh, cough cough. You didn't go to the Sky Marshal Court, so Miss Xiao asked me to come and see if something happened to you." Lin Xian explained with a wry smile. Of course, he was lying to her. However, when she asked Lin Xian what he wanted, Lin Xian really couldn't bring himself to tell her the bad news. This was because he knew Wang Xintong. Also, in that instant, Wang Xintong was so happy and relieved that she called him brother. Her disappointment when she saw that it wasn't her brother made Lin Xian think that she must be anxiously waiting for him and not waiting for bad news. I have something to do, so I won't be going. Sorry for the trouble." Wang Xintong bit her lip and nodded slightly at Lin Xian. You're tuning in to the Earbook Haven YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.